Racing.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2018 IPA Freesports Champions Cup. It's week number 7, and we're back once again in Solihull. Stephen Jameson and Simon Webb with you for the evening. Really looking forward to this session. Group 7 contains Alex O'Donoghue taking on Andrew McKee and Jack Whelan taking on Matt Ward. And here we go, here are our two starting players. Andrew McKee on the left-hand side. And both looking pretty pensive at the start of this one. And Simon, I'll bring you in now. It's week number 7. We're well and truly into this Champions Cup. Now everyone knows exactly what it's about. We've been really enjoying it. These two will have been watching plenty of it.
Absolutely.
And what do you make of what's going to happen here?
I think, well, this is a really even matchup for me. Alex O'Donoghue is the seed in this match, but he hasn't been playing much. He hasn't played a single tour event yet this year, didn't play the World Championships. I spoke to him briefly beforehand and sort of just was asking how his game is, and he said he really hasn't picked up a cue, and he said he's put about 2 weeks practice in for this event, but other than that, we just don't really know how Alex is playing. So as the seed, it'd be interesting to see how he does play. On the other side of the table, Andrew's been playing all the events, and he's put together some really good performances this year without having a deep run in an event. His most eye-catching result so far is playing Ben Davis in the Welsh Open. Ben's first match after winning the World Championships. Andrew actually knocked him out in a very high-quality game.
Yeah, welcome back to the tour event after winning the World Championships, Ben Davies.
Yeah.
We are underway. That's Andrew on the break, and he's a little unfortunate here. He's had a ball down. He's at the table, but so many of them have ended up at the bottom of the table, and could be difficult. What do you make of it, Simon?
Yeah, he's hit that break really, really well. It looked like it was going to be a really, really good split for him with minimal work. The last couple of balls rolling have just tied up the bottom end a fraction. I'm not sure the two yellows on the right-hand side go cleanly, and the yellow on the left-hand side doesn't. I mean, reds are obviously worse than the yellows, so he may have to do some work at the bottom end.
He's gone to do that straight away. How's that form for him? I tell you what, it's not too bad. The two over the right-hand pocket are now very potable. The one at the bottom left now definitely isn't.
Yeah, he's opened up 2 balls with that shot, so he's going to be relatively happy, but it's still really, really tricky because the yellow to the bottom left needs to be developed, and he doesn't have a good ball to develop them. And that is why he's taken the pocket.
Yes, this is an option for our players. It's not necessarily completely safe in black ball rules. We do have some differences to the game that you might be used to playing and indeed watching on your local table. And this is one of them. Taking a pocket doesn't necessarily mean that's game over for that pocket. The skills shot is very much a part of the black ball game. And say, for example, Alex wanted to free that pocket up. He can pot the yellow if he wants, as long as he pots a red.
Yeah, as long as he fulfills all the other parts of a legal shot, hits his own ball first, and he can make the yellow and then make the red. It's a shot we'll see a number of times tonight. He may be eyeing that up in a few visits' time, but at the moment he hasn't got an aggressive option because he's got other problems around the table as well. So he's not going to be looking to do that just yet.
Oh, heck of a shot there from Andrew McKee. That was far more difficult than his nonchalant way of playing that made it look.
Yeah, that was a Fantastic shot. What a great start. The shot that Alex has played, has it just nudged open the yellow as well? You saw Andrew just have a quick look to see whether the yellow now goes to the bottom left. I don't know if that red's in the way. If it is, he needs to develop it.
That's one we'd love to see, guys, with the yellow at the bottom left if it goes into the...
And we just heard the shot clock for the first time tonight. The players are on a 45-second shot clock with 1 extension per frame. I'm not sure if that put him off at all, but it was a tricky pot anyway. Yeah,
it's one of those where I don't think he'll be too upset to miss. I think it will go down as a miss pot. I do think he was trying to pot it, but that pocket is now pretty safe. The bottom right is very safe.
Yeah, but it's definitely a better table for Alex than it was at his previous visit. The top end of the table is a little bit cleaner. It looks like he is going to look to go aggressively here. So I'm not sure whether he'll look to play the red onto the yellow over the bottom right and hope try and get the red to follow it through. That yellow looks like it's away from the pocket a little bit. He may be looking for an angle on one of the balls in open play to clear out that bottom left-hand corner as we look on the overhead.
Well, he sort of did half of it, but he missed the most important part of it. And this frame did just get a touch more interesting.
He's actually been really, really lucky there. Once you miss the pot and you get the white flying across, he's really lucky not to make the skill shot, because of course if he makes that yellow, then he does give away a foul. And that would have been, with the situation, the ball's all but frame over. But he's also tied up another yellow for Andrew, so...
Yeah, I think that answers our question of whether that yellow went. I think you could definitely see a decent angle, but not the potting angle. But he's now taken 3 of the 6 pockets, and we do mention, of course, the skill shot aspect. It's still a very powerful tactic, taking a pocket.
Oh, absolutely. You're just giving your opponent more work, and he's got, Alex is really, in a tough spot here. But I think the red that he's next to, I think will slide past that yellow, and when he does that, he'll play it off the yellow, and that will open up that left-hand bottom pocket. So that's not so much of a problem. It's the yellow on the bottom right that's his problem ball, and he's gone straight after it.
Oh, he's really unlucky. It's a great idea, and he's got it almost perfect.
That was a great effort. If that yellow goes one more roll and drops in, then he's opened up what looked a very messy table in one shot. What a great effort. Very unlucky.
Yeah, Alex is our seeded player, and the seeds haven't been having the best of times of it of late. The last 2 weeks in Solihull, and before that Sheffield. Jordan Shepherd and Luke Sanjis departing the Champions Cup, and last week our second favourite, if you like, Andy Blurton, didn't win either. It was the local Riley's qualifier, Lee Warren, who made his way through to the next round of the Champions Cup. What a story.
Just a fantastic night. Just brilliant for Lee. Great night here in Solihull. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And a little bit of a surprising result as well, but that's part of sport, and that's why we love it.
And Alex is, well, we say that's why we love it. I don't think Alex is loving it right at this moment. I'm sure he's hating every minute of this, because he's just played another great effort to try and break up that bottom right trio, and it's just not gone for him, and he just could not tell you why.
Yeah, that's another brilliant shot from Alex, and I think he's really unlucky, because he deserved to make the pot down the rail is one thing, but to make it down the rail with an awful lot of side to get into the cluster of problem area, and for it not to develop the red, he can count himself a bit unfortunate, because he's played a great shot.
Yeah, he's called his extension. You can see yellow does indeed pass if Andrew gets back to the table. So safety from Alex, who's played.
Yeah, he's underhit that quite a bit. He's trying to take the bottom left-hand pocket and make it difficult for Andrew, because those 3 balls to the bottom right hand. When he plays the first yellow onto the red, it's going to pop the yellow over the pocket, obviously, but the red looks like it's going to throw away from the pocket and leave that other yellow hanging for him. So this is a really good chance to win the first frame.
Is Andrew just taking a look here? Is it if he can screw all the way back into this 3-8 from this ball?
No, I think, well, he's just leaving it to play this 3-ball plant. The key for this shot for Andrew, where does this red go? Does it come out and not stay around the pocket?
Well, there's your answer.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And this should be the frame here for Andrew McKee. Well, it just goes to show the benefits of safety shots. Whilst it is a very quick game and misses are pretty rare, a good safety shot from Alex would have meant that Andrew couldn't have potted this yellow.
Yeah, and this frame that Andrew's about to win probably comes down to his first shot choice. He's attempted to open it up for his colour set, the yellows, on his first shot. It didn't come out great for him, so he's taken the pocket, and from that position he was always chasing the frame. Alex tried and come out with a couple of really good shots and didn't quite end up well for him, but it was all down to that first shot choice.
Here we take a look at Alex O'Donoghue's recent tournament history. So I think you mentioned a little bit earlier, he's not had the greatest of years, Alex. Lots of round ones and round twos there.
Yeah, but also you'll see that his last event was October 2017. He hasn't played so far this year, and didn't play the World Championships and didn't play either of the 2 tour events. So we don't really know how he's been playing. He said he hasn't been playing much at home either. A few weeks preparation for this, and other than that, he's hardly touched his cue for quite a while.
Did he allude as to the reasons why?
He's got a few things just going on with home life. Just a few things that it's got to, more important to him than Paul at the moment. So.
Second frame, Alex O'Donoghue.
It could almost work in his favour if he comes in mentally refreshed. I mean, you speak of this yourself. It's sometimes a very, very mentally taxing game, the game of pool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes a break is what you need. Sometimes you can play too much.
Here we take a look at the break, and a pretty good one. Ball down, you just see there. One of the last balls on the move, which has turned a bad break almost instantly into a good break for Alex.
It's a lovely break if he can get the first ball. The first ball may be the toughest shot in the whole frame.
Yellow's in play.
He's just under hit the white for perfect position. He's still got the yellow to the top right, and he's on the yellow he's nearest to will cut to the bottom left. He needs to play a couple of really well-controlled positional shots in this frame, but it's a great opener.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more fiddly than I think it is. And it's late for Alex. Just needs really good white control.
Yeah, the yellow in between the 2 reds, he wants to get that out of the way, I think, as soon as possible. I think if he can get straight on the 3 yellows on the left-hand side, if he can get straight on the middle one of those 3, I think that goes past the black. And if he's anywhere near straight on that, the other 2 just sort of open themselves up really, really nicely. But he was trying to get on the yellow that's at the bottom end of the table, and I don't think he has. So now he's got a bit of a problem. Just got into that previous shot a fraction too much, needed the white probably an inch or 2 to the left of where it is.
Oh, how about that to get yourself out of the trouble? Absolutely unbelievable shot from Alex O'Donoghue. The plant double. I think that's the first time we've seen one of these on the Champions Cup so far. This is truly audacious.
That's just fantastic. Don't see many plant doubles played. That's exceptional. And it gets him back into a position where he can win this frame. Brilliant shot.
Yeah, absolute champagne shot from Alex O'Donoghue.
It's no good again. He's straight is just awful for him. He can't get on the yellow that's next to the red in the centre of the table. I think his only option really, I mean, it may be better for him not to pop this yellow down the rail and just take the top pocket where the black, you know, the natural pocket for the black. But if he's going to go for this, then all he can leave himself is a very, very thin cut on the yellow.
Yeah, this is a really, really tough shot, and I don't think actually now he's got much option other than to play it. No, he's just thick on it. And this opens itself up really, really nicely for Andrew here.
Looks like Andrew's lost his chalk. He's looking around, looking.
Andrew rearranging the furniture here.
I hope he's aware of the 45-second shot clock. He spent 20 of them looking for his chalk. And this is fairly routine from you know, the position Alex left. You know, once you miss your last ball, the chances are you really should lose those frames more often than not. And it'd be a major surprise to see Andrew make a mistake here.
Yeah, he didn't really need his chalk for this one, did he?
No, I think I would have worried less about my chalk and more about the shot clock, but he had enough time.
We are in O'Reilly's. I'm sure someone could have sorted him out.
Yeah, that would be a bit cheeky, wouldn't it? If he'd asked Alex, "Can I just borrow your chalk for this visit?"
Yeah. Oh, plenty of firsts in this match here. So our first plant double, the Champions Cup, and the first lost chalk. But this has been nicely done from Andrew, as you mentioned. So I'm very routine, but he's obviously playing with a lot of confidence. Very quick player, and that's nicely done. It's 2-0.
Yeah, nicely done. I did say it was fairly routine, but those fairly routines, you know, if you don't keep control of the white, they can catch you out. So, you know, it's a job well done, and he does look very confident.
And you mentioned Andrew McKee's recent record. I feel he should get more for what he did in the Welsh Open, the Welsh Professional. Round 2 doesn't really say, yeah, but I beat the world champion in his first game back.
Yeah, absolutely, and he didn't just beat the world champion. He played really, really well that day as well. It was a great performance. Really took it to Ben. Ben got himself ahead and made a couple of mistakes, but that's down to the pressure that Ben put him under. Sorry. Yeah, so round 2 doesn't really do that justice.
Hey, check out that name at the bottom. You remember that game in Morocco?
I do. Deciding frame. Yeah. Yeah, a rare win. It's actually amazing how much you remember certain frames, certain games. I can still remember. Yeah, still remember the deciding frame.
Well, while the referee re-racks, talk us through it.
Yeah, I broke dish the deciding frame after I think I won the last 2 to beat him. It was, and then it was a World Series event qualifying, and the next day he ended up in a battle with Mark Farnsworth to qualify for the World Series. So I think he took Mark all the way as well.
Andrew McKee then with the break, and he's in a good position here. If it goes to 3-0, it's a really strong position, and he's got balls down. Again, he's getting into them really well, I think. The white is travelling at a real pace. Yeah,
I had about an hour's practice with Andrew this afternoon. He got it quite early, so he helped me do a bit of the setup, and then had a little bit of a practice with him, and he was cueing brilliantly. But the one thing I noticed was his break was absolutely on. He barely had a frame where he didn't make a ball off the break, and he seemed to be, break and running a lot.
Did he get his revenge from Morocco? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, we weren't keeping score, but I'm sure he did.
I'm sure you weren't.
I'm sure he did. Yeah. It was one of those, you knew when it was his break. I had about 5 minutes or a few minutes to go and do a bit of screwing in or a bit of something. He was very sharp and very relaxed, actually. I was chatting to him about tonight, you know, asking him how he was feeling for it and stuff. He's just very, very relaxed, very confident.
Yeah, and it's something that we maybe should touch on, is that, you know, the nature of this competition being live on Freesports as it is, it's He's getting a lot of attention, not just from those on the circuit, but those who maybe aren't necessarily part of the pool circuit, and it brings with it a sort of added bit of pressure and a bit of just an extra something for the players, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an extra edge to the games. You're very aware of there being, a bigger audience, not just in the venue but on TV as well. And I think that's probably why, certainly for the first few weeks, I felt that the seeded players who are more used to, some of them will have played previously, and certainly they're more used to playing on the main stage. They dealt with it better, in my opinion. But yeah, I was really impressed with how relaxed he was. I think the thing with Andrew, and he's like a number of players, and I'd sort of include myself a little bit in this, that we're sort of capable of performances where you can beat, the most players or any players really, but you're almost a surprise to see him, to see him go deep into a tournament. He's not if he'd made a semi-final or a final, you'd almost a little bit, wow, that's a great, bit of a surprising effort, but capable of those sort of performances to beat any player in the world. It's just backing that up with the next match, as highlighted at the Welsh Open. He beats Ben Davis in round 1 and comes unstuck round 2.
He just played a lovely red into the corner. That queuing was tremendously awkward. Lovely double as well. It's not always as fantastic a shot, if you want, as you might be used to seeing in a sport like snooker, where it's a real rarity. These players are so consistent on the doubles. Alex played for it on that shot.
Yeah, absolutely. He would probably had that in mind from the first visit. If he can get straight on that double, he had the control to come back for these two into the middle, and he's making that double. If the inside one of these, the one nearest the rail, if that goes into the corner, then this is a really good chance to win the frame. If it doesn't, it's slightly trickier. Looks like it does. Just under hit that a fraction. He would have loved the white to be an extra couple of inches up the table. He's still got the red to the corner, but he's got a lot more angle, which means the white's going to be travelling around the table quite a long way.
He has, though, got a fair amount of wiggle room on his position for the next shot. Although the black will have to go up into the middle.
Yeah, the black's going to be tricky to get on, regardless of what angle he leaves himself on that last red. He needs to almost be sort of three-quarter ball on it to be able to get on the black into the centre pocket, but it's hard to be precise when the white's moving this far. Straight's no good. He's fairly straight.
It does look very straight, doesn't it?
I'm not sure he's got an option other than to play on the double here. I mean, maybe he's got a hint of angle that he could punch this across, but then you need to get low of the black. This is, yeah. Oh, he may be screwing right up and down off the top cushion. He's trying.
Oh, it's not a bad effort.
Yeah, it's not the worst result for him either. When he realised the line off the second cushion was coming down towards those yellows, he could have easily snookered himself. So to leave himself a double, as awkward as it is, it's a controllable double, but he would fancy quite a bit of side on that, which has created that angle off that top cushion. It's a double you'd fancy him to get quite close to.
Well, he has a shot. That's the main thing for him. Yeah. He's got 20 seconds to play it.
He's looking at the double. I'm just wondering whether the treble's a better option. He'd be straighter on the treble, and the other thing with the treble is if he gets close to the treble, he'd take the pocket. But it was the double.
And he's not too close to the double, in truth.
So this is, although Alex had a couple of goes in that first frame, this is Alex's his best chance to win a frame so far. The chance he had in frame 1 and frame 2 were very, very tough. This is one where he should take. So this is where we'll really find out how he's playing.
And he showed a couple of glimpses in frame 1 where he played a couple of brilliant positional shots, which just didn't quite come off with cannons, as they sometimes don't. that he's seeing the game very well, and he's executing pretty well as well.
Yeah, the signs were really good. He just ran out of position in frame 2. Finished, left himself dead straight when it was just no good. But he did come up with some big shots to get to that point, and in frame 1 he came up with 2 or 3 big shots. But once I said it in the previous frame, once you miss your last ball or the black, your opponent is in the driving seat. So it's a frame that Alex should win. He knows that.
He's not left himself. Not left Andrew the easiest shot here.
Yeah, it looks like he could see an edge. If he could see an edge, I wonder if he could, if he really hit it firm enough, he could cut it in. But it would be a crazy thin cut, and he's coming off one cushion anyway. You can see him lining up the cushion.
Well, it's one of those where if he hits it full ball, he's got every chance of passing it.
Yeah, the overhead shows that the cut definitely wasn't on. It's just the deceptive nature of the main camera angle.
Well, he has hit the ball, that was the main thing. But Alex's tactic of getting him in the snooker looks to have paid off. He's now got a very decent chance of winning the frame from here.
Yeah, just needs to be careful and make sure he gets good position to get on the black. The black going close to the rail means that, you know, it's not wide open. You need to get good position. If he gets right behind it, it's a black you shouldn't miss. But that's the key, really. It looks like he'll probably leave the yellow to the top right as his last ball. He wants to have a decent amount of angle on this yellow as well.
He's queuing very confidently, I think, Alex O'Donoghue. As if he's never been away.
That's a lovely shot.
Yeah, lovely clearance from Alex O'Donoghue. Gets himself back into the match, and we often say that the third frame, especially when it goes 2-0, is maybe the most important frame of the match, because 3-0 is very difficult to come back from. 2-1 is, well, you're right back in.
Yeah, 2-1, you're right in the match. I think it's even Alex's break as well, so some players like to think of it like a serve. It's 2-1, and if that's the case, 2-1 in his serve, he'll be relatively happy, to be honest. Just thinking about his time away, you know, not played much in this year, so he's probably had I think it was October, his last tour match. He's never been a big practicer anyway. He's never one that puts a huge amount of hours in at home. He'll sort of put a little bit of time in for tournament to tournament. So I don't expect him to be too much of a problem for him.
So there, the steely focus from Andrew McKee. Referee really taking his time with the racking up here. Making sure absolutely everything's perfect. Doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's just really important for the players that all the balls are touching. If you get any of the balls not quite touching each other, and you can end up having a sort of dead pack. So when you break them open, it doesn't really explode, and the balls don't fly everywhere, and you end up with a quite congested table. So it's really important for the players that he gets this right. It's worth the extra couple of seconds.
Fourth frame, Alex O'Donoghue to break, taking 2 racks away.
Looks like he's now ready. Alex favouring the cut break. Gets a couple down. Pretty good split as well, but the white being on the bottom cushion is a bit of a nightmare for him. Where's his first shot coming from? Here's a replay of the break.
It's a problem. This is a brilliant break. He deserved better than what he's been left with. He's been left in a pretty horrible position. If that white's in the middle of the table, then, you know, whichever colour set he wants, he's got a chance. From there, his first shot looks horrible.
I think he's too close, or he may be too close to the red at the bottom here to cut this. It's a really horrible shot.
Yeah, safety shot, that's all he's got then.
He'll be frustrated there, because if the white ball was kind of to him, in 5 minutes' time he might have been walking away with a 2-2.
Yeah, but it's now Andrew's problem. Yellows are a much better colour set now after that safety shot from Alex, and there's definitely no yellow on him. Andrew's got a very tricky plant into the centre pocket, which is, I think Alex was trying to block. I don't think he wanted to leave him that. I don't think he wants to sort of give him that chance, but it's tough.
Yeah, that's how tough.
Yeah, he's been fairly fortunate in terms of he didn't get position on the yellow. He was playing for the yellow that he's nearest to, down to the bottom left, and he didn't get position, which means Alex doesn't have a yellow to go at. Maybe forced into going reds.
Yeah, he does have a red to the right middle. See that?
Yeah, if he does decide to go reds, then the two reds that he's nearest to are a bit awkward. They sort of cover each other, maybe a double option, and then the other one goes down the rail. Does the red pass the black at the top of the table? That's potentially another problem.
Reds in play.
Yeah, he's forced into reds, and I think he's played on the double.
If yeah, he's on the double, but doesn't. Don't know whether he can stay on the one down the rail after playing this double. Looks like he might cannon into it. Might be able to. If he can double the one nearest the cushion. I didn't think the shot was on. No, it's just the safety.
Time out.
He's played that pretty well, actually.
Yeah, he's going to be disappointed though. The reason I say that, yes, he's limited Andrew's options, but those two reds that he's just tied up together, he really wanted them to be still, still on or still doubleable, and he sort of made them awkward. He may still have a double option on the top one, but he would be slightly annoyed with how he's left that.
Yeah, it was touching ball as well, which made that a little bit easier for Andrew. Reminder in black ball rules, every shot must come off a cushion if it's not a pot, which makes these sort of intricate rolling up, roll up safety battles quite rare.
Yeah, that being touching ball was actually really unlucky for Alex, because it meant Andrew could play that shot, so he didn't have to touch that yellow, because he was already touching it. Just has to hit the cushion and he can do what he did. If he had to flick off that yellow, then it would have been much harder to get the snooker.
Oh, I tell you what, if he can get back to the table, he might be in business. Reds now look far more favourable, but there is a shot on up to the top of the table.
Yeah, he's left Andrew a shot, but he'll be happy that it's tough. There was a chance when he was from that snooker that he could have left it a very simple finish on for Andrew, so at least Andrew's got a tough opener.
Looks like he's playing the safety shot, he is.
I was a little bit surprised at that. I thought he might take the one to the top left, because if he doesn't make it,
he's covered the most important pocket.
I guess the reason he hasn't taken it on, I think, is probably that if he does make it, he wouldn't have been on his next ball. To get onto the next ball, he would have had to play it with too much pace. It wouldn't have taken the pocket had he missed. So he's actually probably played a really good choice, because he's left Alex nothing to go at.
And of course he snookered. That's equally quite a clever reply, because again, Andrew can only really play the one ball. It does look pretty doubleable. That's a word. Get Oxford on the case there. But
I hope so, because I use that quite a lot.
Just as to them, that's okay.
Yeah, he may be forced into the double. It depends, he might be able to brush off it, similar shots that he played before. I think that's what he's trying. So it's important the yellow gets in the way of the red that he's nearest to. Just about has.
It's been our slowest frame of the match so far by quite a distance, and you can see not a true snooker in a sense, but
yeah, he's just got the yellow far enough. You can see there he's probably, you know, a quarter of an inch away from being able to see it. Well, probably not even that. Just a really small margin away from being able to pot this red. So just Andrew would have liked a little bit more on that previous shot, but he's got away with it.
Alex just considering his options. It looks like he might. I think he was trying to play the billiard shot up into the top right, which was very difficult, needless to say.
It was, but he's played with quite a big element of control as well. He played the white into an area where he wasn't leaving any of the yellows at the top on, and the yellow down the bottom end of the table he was only leaving a double on. Some quite clever cagey shots being played from both players at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really interesting tactical battle because both of them appear totally in control of it. Neither one is really chasing.
Yeah, I keep thinking that each player's played a shot that's going to earn an opportunity next visit, and that hasn't happened. Neither player has had a chance. It's been quite well played from both so far.
Andrew plays his favourite shot. See that a few times in this frame. He's played it pretty well on the whole as well. Again, doesn't leave Alex a huge amount.
Alex has actually got, he's going to obviously come off one cushion, but he's got half a chance to get in behind the red at the top end of the table. I think he can just get past this yellow to see the top right-hand side cushion and come off two cushions and rest on the red at the top of the table. Very tough shot, but if he gets it right, he might return the favour and snooker Andrew.
I think that's what he's looking at.
No, he had to play with that. He couldn't play the shot I talked about. He had to get some side into that to create the angle that he did. So he didn't have the shot on that I mentioned. But what he has played is he's played very, very well. That four-wall contact has left Andrew nothing to go at.
Yeah, he's absolutely stuck the white ball on the top cushion. And Andrew here is going to have to really rack his brains to figure out his response here. The thing is whilst all these balls are quite congested, they're still pretty open, so whoever blinks first is gonna have a real issue in giving their opponent the frame almost.
Absolutely, that's the key with this frame. Whoever gets the first opportunity, and that's a brilliant shot, was likely to win the frame. I say likely because I don't think he's been rewarded after a shot as good as that with an opportunity.
I think he's going to have to look at another plan.
I think he's looking at yellow off red, off yellow, and into the corner, into the centre pocket. This is creative. I don't think there's just a straight. I don't think there's a straight plant on. The two reds I think are going to the jaw, and I don't think you can see enough of the one of them to be able to create the angle on the other. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, he can't plant two yellows in there, so he is. Yeah, he was looking to be a bit more creative, and it didn't work.
It was incredibly tough, the shot he decided to play. And I think this red that he's next to might just sneak down the cushion, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right. But the problem he's got is getting on the next red. I don't think he can.
I just wonder if he's quite straight, he might just be able to screw back. That's what he's played.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's a really good shot.
Yeah, I thought he was cannoning that. If he cannoned that yellow full, he would have left himself an absolutely nothing. So to catch it sort of quarter ball and get to where he has is a brilliant shot.
He's played a few of those really, really well, actually, Alex O'Donoghue. Must be said. And now he has got an excellent chance to win the frame. Andrew wasn't really rewarded when he played his nice shot. Just got a bit caught up for him, but this is, without doubt, a really good chance.
Yeah, does that red sneak past the black? It looks like he's got half a pocket. It looks like if he just stuns this in, he'll be able to drop the red in past the black. And that positional shot tells us that he can.
Should be pretty routine from here. He's got the angle just to come down the table now for the red to the middle. And then up onto the black. We're looking at a level game. And it is amazing, isn't it, how many times that we see the first few frames, or first 5 frames even, head into a 3-2 in this Champions Cup. It seems to happen so much, and it's going to happen again in this one.
Yeah, we've seen that a number of times, haven't we? We've seen a player get off to a 2-0 start and be dragged back to 2-2 and then 3-2 at the break. It's happened quite a few times.
These two did meet last year at the English Professional in May 2017. Andrew McKee won that one 8-2. As you mentioned, Simon, these two might have played each other certainly recently because Alex just hasn't been on the circuit.
Yeah, and they live opposite ends of the country, so they're not going to play each other in sort of smaller events either, and in sort of one-day club events. So, yeah, they won't have played each other a huge number of times, probably more than the ones that we're showing there, but yeah, certainly only once on recent history on tour.
Bit of a 1,000-yard stare from Andrew McKee there. He really is locked in concentration and in thought throughout this game.
Yeah, he really is, isn't he? He's really focused on the job in hand. Alex looks very relaxed, doesn't he? Looks very comfortable.
Alex was almost bored he's that relaxed. Do you know what I mean? Looks over as if his mind is completely elsewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how it looks.
We could have almost played a really fun caption competition there. We won't. Referee's making sure, once again, all these balls are touching. And he's happy with that. And so is Andrew, most importantly.
So his first 2 breaks were pretty big, but he was wasn't really rewarded with chances. Is that going to change?
He's got another really good split.
And he's made a ball.
You almost heard that right at the end, yeah. Yeah, there it is, just that yellow.
Yeah, I thought he was going to come up dry, but it hasn't. He's made his ball, but he hasn't been rewarded with a good split.
That red, I should have said before, it was the red that went down. And yeah, it's a really weird split, isn't it? Because the 2 yellows blocking the top left, you might think as you look further down the table, well, yellow's the option, and the rest of them are horrible.
Yeah, yellows are horrible at the bottom end of the table, but giving him control at the top end of the table. So he's gone for reds, but...
Oh, he's in off. Oh, he's just stayed out. Took on a tough, risky positional shot there to try and free the red out from in between those yellows. It nearly came off disastrously for him.
Yeah, I think he's probably taken the view that the red that's in amongst those yellows at the bottom end of the table is his biggest problem. And the 2, although they're horrible at the top end of the table, are easier to solve. But they were still horrible. It's just not a nice, you make a big break and get the ball flying everywhere. You sort of feel like you deserve better, or a better chance than you got there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's been a theme of Andrew's breaks so far in this game, really. But Alex will be taking a look at this and thinking, oh goodness me, what have I let myself in for here? This is a difficult lie for the yellows.
Yeah, it really is. I think what he would love to do is be able to develop some yellows at the bottom end of the table whilst keeping it safe.
And, I think that's what it's certainly what he's attempted to do. Whether he's successful, I'm not too sure. That red at the bottom left looks pretty possible to me.
Yeah, I think he would love that yellow to come across the table a little bit more, maybe get a bit more over the pocket. I was just wondering whether Andrew might bump the red that he's nearest to out whilst he was there.
Cool. Those balls flew absolutely everywhere, and he's made 2. And weirdly, I'm not sure he'll be too happy with it.
Absolutely. Potting 2 balls there is a disaster because he's still got 2 problem balls, and you want as many balls out in the open as possible as ammunition to develop the problem balls. So that second ball going in, although looks lucky, really wasn't.
Yeah, that was his only really way out to try and double that red. It's not come off, and isn't it interesting? A minute ago, Alex really looked behind in the frame, and now you'd make him absolute red-hot favourite.
Yeah, the one thing that's happened there with the cannon that Andrew played into the red, he may have got the red out a little bit, but he definitely got all the yellows out. Looks like a safety first from Alex, but Alex's yellows are a much better position than the reds now.
Well, that safety is almost 2-pronged, wasn't it? It puts Andrew in a very difficult position. It's always good to snooker your opponents. It almost guarantees you a free shot if you do it right, but it also let him have the yellow a little bit more kind over the pocket. He's in a good position here, is Alex.
Yeah, he is. Yellows are very dominant. It's not obvious what Andrew can do to get out of the problem he's in. I think he's not snookered, but can't do much with the ball he can see.
Shot clock ticking. And I think it's a much of a muchness, really, that shot.
Yeah, maybe just trying to get the red. If I can get that red in and amongst those 3 yellows, maybe get one in between the one that's over the pocket and the one that it's nearest to. Make it tricky for Alex, but he hasn't really done that. Alex is in control completely.
Played that nicely as well.
Yeah, I think he's slightly annoyed. The reason he's pulling that face is that he's just overhit the positional side because he now can't play. He now can't play the yellows at the top end of the table. He may have to come down the table before going back up. That red's just in the way of being able to plant one yellow onto the one over the pocket.
Oh, well. You wouldn't have expected him to miss that the way he's been queuing. Little shake of the head from Alex.
Yeah, slightly surprising miss. They can always be missed. They're tricky, but I didn't expect it. It may not make any difference because of the situation of the Reds. He hasn't really left Andrew anything to go at.
Even the double looks tricky because the yellow, I think, might block it.
Yeah, he may just look to get this yellow onto that red to make that red awkward, potentially. Oh, it cut. Oh, okay.
Black's on the move and ties up horribly if you're Reds, which Andrew is. And this is quite a fiddly shot coming up for him.
Yeah, that's gone really badly from him, isn't it? He's made the pot, of course. Maybe he would have liked to see he was thinking maybe the black might get in amongst the yellows, maybe knock the yellow over the pocket and make it a problem pocket for both players, but it's still fine for yellows and still horrible for Reds.
Well, we're delighted now that he didn't use his extension when the shot clock was ticking the last time he visited the table, because he will need to use it on this shot.
Yeah, this is going to take some thinking, this really is. I'm just trying to see, I mean, he may be able to cross double the red nearest the side rail, but I think he might have to bump the other red out the way. It looks like he's lining up the long skill shot. If this comes off, this would be special. This is very, very tough.
Won't be up there with shots of the tournament so far, that's for sure, because this is tough.
Looks like it's option one. just getting that red out from that area. But in truth, he's not really gaining much by doing that. Maybe he was trying to double it off 3 cushions into either the corner or the centre, and then giving himself a skill shot from right behind it where it's much more makeable.
Oh, lovely shot from Alex. He almost used that as a shot to nothing because he knew he wasn't going to leave it by playing it, and it was by far and away his most difficult ball. And I don't know, almost it seemed as if because the pressure was off on that pot, it became a bit easy for him. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. It's sort of a two-way shot. If that yellow stays up, he's still fine. If it drops, then he's got a great chance to clear up.
You really fancy him now. Just has to leave an angle to get himself back up the table.
Yeah, those 2 yellows at the top end, he's giving it a little bit of thought now. You know, the 2 at the bottom end that he's on, they're simple. It's the 2 at the top. He's just trying to understand. They're a bit trickier than they actually look. He needs to take them. That's why he's gone up the table for it now. He's leaving one over the bottom right-hand pocket, which will probably be his last ball.
Yeah, just take a look at it. I think you're right, sorry. The one that's not over the pocket, even if he plays, you know, the plant into the one over, I don't think it's guaranteed to go in. He also has to cut it, because that might happen.
Yeah, he had to. Yeah, it wasn't as simple as it looked, and he didn't quite get the angle on the plant that he needed. Sometimes this game can make you look a little bit silly. I mean, you think that's, you know, you look at the overhead camera, you think that can't be missed, but that was trickier than it looked. And the biggest problem with that is tying up the yellow that he was playing onto it with the black. I thought he might play it with a bit more pace and try and open it all up with the black going away as well.
Has he got enough on that?
Well, he'll be delighted to have a shot. It's not nice, but he probably needs to play this thin cut with some right-hand side and get the white travelling up towards the black. His other option is just to make the cut and try and get the white onto the top cushion. If he gets the white onto the top cushion, then the black, I believe, is doubleable. So I'm using it now as well.
Yeah, there's that word.
Into the corner. But he doesn't have much margin of error to play the double on the black, and it looks like it would be hard to hit it slow enough to play on it. So it is the one with side.
Oh, he's so unlucky.
Wow. That's so unlucky. That was a brilliant effort.
We've seen this a few times in this match where the players have played really, really, almost objectively great shots and they've just not come off. That's so unfortunate not to pot that.
I can't believe it watching the replay. That was a brilliant shot.
The pot itself was tough. It was really tough. Then get the position almost millimetre perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that was a horrible, horrible cut anyway, but to have to play it with an awful lot of side to create the angle, to get into the black, and to get the cannon perfect, it's just, he can get him very, very unfortunate there.
He's got 6 seconds to play this. He had no option, did he? He had absolutely no option.
Yeah, that was horrible. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what he was trying to do with that shot, but he didn't really have anything to go at.
He's hitting the bottle in response.
I was thinking that I was expecting him to just feather off the black. That's what I was expecting, just feather off the black and leave the black over that yellow and make Alex earn the frame. But all Alex will have had to have done was play a safety shot at the bottom of the table, and then Andrew's got no shot on, so he's taken it first visit.
Yeah, it would have been a sense of prolonging the inevitable almost, wouldn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
So it looks like Alex O'Donoghue has a fantastic shot here to take the win in this frame and move him 3-2 in front. It should be simple. It almost never is in this game. It's seemingly so. He has got an angle to get up for the black, and he's played that nicely. It will be 3-2, barring a miracle for Andrew here. And Alex has really had to grind that. 5 very draining frames is how I'd call them on the players. They've really, really had to work hard.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that frame was was the most draining of them all.
There we see the stats, and there we see just how close it is. Only 2 balls the difference in total balls potted, only 1 frame the difference in this game. It's Alex O'Donoghue who has the advantage. The conclusion of our first semi-final is coming up next.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
And welcome back to the IPA Freesports Champions Cup 2018. Alex O'Donoghue and Andrew McKee are battling away in our first semi-final of the evening. Jack Whelan and Matt Ward still to come. You've not missed a huge amount here. We join this in the 6th frame. Alex is 3-2 to the good. And already we're into another safety battle.
Yeah, it's been the way of the night, isn't it? The safety battles. I think both players are hitting the break really, really well, but they're just not coming out too kind for them.
Yeah, Andrew didn't have the break in this game, or in this frame, I should say, and is currently reds. And he's going to start running out of reds available to pot unless he makes a good shot here. Yellows are totally in control over the bottom left.
Yeah, he's sort of potting himself into a mess here. Looks like from the camera angle we're showing that when he pots this red to the left centre, the white's going to hit the yellow, but he needs to get that white out. He only needs to get it out probably 3-4 inches, and he might leave himself a shot on the one nearest the black to get on at least one more. Okay, that was good. He could avoid that yellow, which is really good, but he's over screwed it.
And this red might be potable, the bottom red, that is, bottom cut, but I'd be surprised if he took it on. It's really tough.
Yeah, the problem he's got is he's potted himself so far into trouble that he doesn't really have safety options. He's at a point where he has to just keep going now.
He's playing the cut into the middle though, and that's, I'll tell you what, he's actually made a really nice shot.
And he's left himself a great chance, because the natural angle, he's got the red to the top right, or bottom right as we look on the overhead. The natural angle of the white is to cannon into that red. So if he makes the red, he should get himself a shot on the next red.
The chance might just go begging that. It's not the easiest lie either for Alex, is it?
No, but because Andrew's potted himself into a mess. Well, I say a mess because he had a great chance there. He just missed the pot. But yellows are dominant. You've got more yellows on the table. You've got the bottom pocket covered. You sort of feel it's a matter of time before Alex gets a chance to win this frame from this position. I don't think he's totally snookered. If he is, it's a fairly simple swerve round to hit the red, but you just can't do anything with this. It's just...
If that red had gone in the bottom corner, I'd have said ye of little faith. But that was, I think, to even try and attempt that was bold. It was very, very tough.
I think it just shows how much in trouble in the frame he really is. Or he was, yeah, just in a position where he has to come up with something.
And, apologies if you've been watching on Freesports and had an interruption to your coverage. We are hopefully back live with you now. Alex O'Donoghue and Andrew McKee in the 6th frame. Andrew McKee was potting himself further and further into a hole, and as he dug his way out of it, he's let Alex back into this frame, and man in the picture now is now big favourite to win it.
Alex stayed down on that shot for a few extra seconds. I'm guessing he was thinking about coming up the table a little bit more just by his reaction, but I would have thought he wanted to be on the yellow at the bottom of the table as quickly as possible, and he's on it now, so Slightly surprised he hasn't taken that on. It probably suggests that that yellow at the bottom is going to be his last ball, so he needs to play a really good last positional shot to get on that yellow and then to get onto the black. You see him looking now.
He's got a lovely quick style about him, hasn't he, Alex? He really doesn't take long once his hand's down.
No, not at all. Easy to overhit this shot, but he's okay. I think he's just having just double checking the line he wants, because I think he needs to avoid the red. I think that's the plan. He can play for this black into the centre or the corner, but he just needs to make sure. He's probably got a bit of side on this.
He's played that nicely.
Yeah, you just saw the little raise of the hand. He was trying to avoid that red, and he cannoning it full ball the way he has. He's left himself a nice easy black. But the way he cannoned that, there's a good chance the red could have gone in the way of the black. So.
Yeah, I think he feels a touch guilty about that. Hand up again at the end of that frame. And Andrew perhaps will feel a touch aggrieved to be 4-2 down with the amount of balls he's potted.
Yeah, he's not really done. He's not done anything simple wrong. You know, he can be. You know, you can argue that he's maybe pushed the boat out and chased finishes that aren't quite there. But in truth, that's the way the lie of the balls have been. He's almost been forced to do that. Once you feel like you're losing the safety battle, then you might as well go for something rather than try and just continue the safety battle and eventually lose it. You know, try and force your hand and make something happen. He's played 2 or 3 great shots and not been rewarded for it.
Referee again, just making sure everything is a-okay with the break. So important that every single ball touching. Most important shot of any frame. And this time it's Andrew's turn to have a go. Really old-fashioned pull break this. Big drawback. And he really is breaking so well. And this is his best one of the bunch, I'm going to say, because the white ball has come up pretty rosy for him. And he's got options either colour.
Yeah, he's hit all 4 of his breaks brilliantly. But this is the first time he's been given an opportunity where he will fully expect to make this finish now. Whichever colour set he goes, and he could go both. I'm sort of... If the red next to the black goes, then reds are probably the way. But you can make a case for both colour sets, but I like reds. But whichever way he goes, he's going to expect to finish, and I expect him to finish them as well.
Looks like yellow is the choice. And even the black itself, whilst it's not the most accessible, seemingly, it goes into both middle pockets, which leaves a huge swathe of the table that he can get on it in. It's a pretty good lie, this.
Oh, it's really, this is the sort of split you really want. If you were offered this off every break, you'd take it. Really, really nice split. Everything goes. Nothing, no cannons required. Nothing nudged. Just pick your pattern and work your way through it. To me, it looks like the key for this will be just the shot that gets him from the top end of the table down to the bottom end of the table. He's got plenty of margin for that shot as well. So everything in his favour here.
Looks pretty straight on this ball, though, so might just have to screw it all the way back.
Yeah, he could just stun it in and play for the one that's nearest the corner pocket, or he could screw back for the one just inside that, which I think is his choice. And that looks absolutely ideal. looks like just a stun shot now. If he comes back an inch, he's got a yellow to the centre. He could possibly pick, pinch the pocket, play for the other yellow into the corner pocket, which is what he's going to do. Well, just only because of the way he's been pointing his cue, it looks like he's going to come off the side cushion and cannon into the red. It's not gone well. He wanted that full ball. If he catches it full ball, then it's a much easier shot. He's still got a chance, but it's a tougher pot, and positionally the white's getting away from him a little bit as well.
And that was a danger. That was the danger.
Yeah, you could just feel that finish getting away from him with every shot. When he came down the table, he looked perfect. And I believe when he played with 3 yellows left, he just came back a 2 or 3 inches further than he probably intended. I think he probably did play for the yellow to the right centre.
Well, this is the one that got him into trouble. And my question, I guess, to you, Simon, does he need to cannon the red there? Because to me, it seemed like a pretty simple shot just to rest up on behind the yellow and take it easily. Oh, I can't believe it.
Wow.
Would you believe that?
That's incredible.
Well, I haven't seen Andrew McKee's reaction there. He's got a big smile on his face. And I think, yeah, there we see the hand of apology. He's in a good old-fashioned hit and Chris there, a hit and hope.
There's no really other way to describe that. He's just hit that as full as you like and tried to get the black moving towards the pocket, and 2 or 3 kisses on the reds and it flies. Yeah, wow.
It is actually quite incredible how often that a fluke on the black happens. Because obviously you always remember them, but it really does happen far more often than really is fair to all players.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's the black it gets remembered more. But yeah, it's rare you see a shot like that where it looked like he was just hitting it firm and hoping for the best, but to see it fly in. And of course we're having a bit of a joke with it now, but there's a massive difference between 5-2 and 4-3. I mean, it really is huge. And then Alex gets kicked in off on the break as well. So 2 seconds ago, Alex would have been sat there thinking, right, I'm going to get myself a nice chance to go 5-2 up and almost put this match to bed. And it could be 3-4 minutes later and it could be 4-4, because these have come out really well for Andrew.
Well, going in off the break is an absolute cardinal, really, purely because even if it's not necessarily the best lie, you can make it one with the free shot.
Yeah, and in truth, he doesn't really need the free shot. These are lying so good for him. But from Alex's side of the table, he didn't, he hit the break well. The white was near the corner, but it got kicked in. A couple of balls kicked it in, so he can count himself a bit unlucky. But he will be sat in his chair thinking, I was staring 5-2 in the face and I'm going 4-4. Just taking his time over the first shot. He's played a yellow out the way, and his plan was always to get that yellow out the way and then go red. So just making sure of his route.
Yeah, I think we were all doing the same thing there, just figuring out how he could make himself a problem.
Yeah. So as long as he gets straight enough on the yellow to the left centre, doesn't snooker himself.
Or has he got away with it?
I think he's got away with it. He has.
He is very fortunate. The fortune has really been on his side this last 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's just going his way. I think it's fair to say that was not a good shot from Andrew, but he's perfect now.
Oh, if I was him, I'd be racing down to the off licence to put a lottery ticket on, because it's in his favour at the minute.
You could see he just flicked the yellow on the bottom rail, and you could see when he did that, he dropped his head because he thought, I'm right behind that yellow and I've given away a great opportunity. But being able to see that red, the perfect angle on that red as well.
Remarkable, isn't it? Just how the gods of fate, if you will, can just align at times. And Andrew has had 3 huge slices of fortune in the last couple of minutes, and it's won him 2 frames.
Yeah, the match is right back on. It was staring, you know, we really were looking at 5-2, and now it's 4-4. All to play for. It's one of those weird situations where it's 4-4, but Andrew's going to be far, far happier than Alex.
And here we see a reminder of the qualifiers to date. We've had 6 wonderful weeks of the Champions Cup. Mark Farnsworth, Ronan McCarthy, Craig Marsh all qualified fairly routinely through from their groups. Christian Phillips had to work very hard in our second week in Cardiff rather, against Curtis Lee. Jason Remington then knocked out the seed Jordan Shepherd, and then last week in Solihull, the fairy tale story almost, the FA Cup of the Champions Cup so far. Qualifier Lee Warren knocking out Andy Burton in the final last week.
Yeah, just brilliant night. Absolutely fantastic performance from Lee. He was really good value for his win as well. It was he played not just some great pool, but really entertaining pool, and had the crowd going here, and it was just great fun.
He really did, and it wasn't as if he didn't deserve it at all. You know, that sort of lazy comparison that I just offered there, the FA Cup. It might give the impression that he really grinded it out back again. He fully competed with, well, he deservedly won his semi-final by quite a distance, and he gave Andy a great game in the final.
Yeah, and he came up with a shot when the match was on the line. I think it was 4-4.
Yeah, absolutely. He shot the tournament
so far, where I thought he was looking for some sort of safety, and he's come up with a shot, and he's really taken it to Andy, and it was great to see.
Yeah, back underway, and Andrew back on the break, and again he's got a good split. He's got a really good split actually, and he looks in good shape. White stays out. Red at the top middle, as we look at it right now, is dropped in, and I wonder if Reds will be his choice. What would your thoughts be here, Simon?
Yeah, I think the red towards the yellow towards the red at the top left end of the table means that Redzer is going to be his option here, and assuming that he can get to the red to the top left, which it looks like he can, all the other reds are very nicely placed. So he really is having a few minutes where it's all opening up nicely for him.
And I'll tell you what, his first shot, he made it look very simple, but it may well be his hardest shot of the frame. That plant was a fair distance away from each other.
Yeah, no, it was one you expect to make, because the ball, there was a big gap between the balls, but the ball nearest the pocket was quite close, so it was controllable. But once that goes in, he knows that they're there, and he knows he should finish this.
I thought for a second he was going to hunt his chalk down again there, but no, he just picked up his cue extension. This is an awkward bit of cueing. Just pokes it in.
Yeah, that's not the best shot from Andrew. It looks like he's got the position onto the red next to the black, but probably a bit more distance on than he really wanted. Shouldn't be a problem.
Let's cue that beautifully.
Yeah, just needs to control the white through the gap of the yellow and the red. Just may need to play this with a little bit of left-hand side. It could go wrong, but it shouldn't.
Yeah, he's played that nicely, and he's rattled off 3 frames in very quick succession. Should this go in, of course, which it does. Andrew McKee is 1 away. Alex O'Donoghue has to win the next 2. You know, race to 6, and I mean, he was in a great position at a few minutes ago.
Well, that's 3 frames off the break. That's 2 break dishes and a reverse dish, but that doesn't really tell the full story of those 3 frames either. You have to feel a little bit for Alex. He was sat in his chair at 4-2 up, thinking, you know, he's in control, and Andrew's potted himself into a mess, and then he comes up with a fluke. And Alex has played 1 more shot since, and he's now 5-4 down.
The cruel life of a pool player.
Yeah, sometimes it does feel cruel when you're sat in that chair and it's all going against you, but that has been particularly cruel on Alex for the last 10 minutes. It wasn't the break he hit, which he went in off on. You know, he didn't hit that badly. He hit it pretty well, and he got kicked in off. So it wasn't just the fluke. He's been kicked in off and a fluked positional shot from Andrew. So he'll be sat there feeling like it's all against him.
And that break is a little sticky. Most importantly, it's come out dry.
Yeah, and this isn't the worst split either. This is a chance for the match. Looks like he's got an option both colour sets. It looks like yellows may have to be his way. The tougher first red, although he does have an option on a red. But I think all the yellows go. All the reds go as well, so it really is how he sees it.
That's exactly it, isn't it? We said it was a sticky break. It wasn't the nicest connection for Alex, but had one of those gone down, he'd have been in a great position to win the frame and get himself, well, to keep himself in the match.
Yeah, sometimes you break them, and you can see with a number of balls that are left in the sort of the triangle area, they haven't really opened up very well, but they've opened up just enough to actually leave quite a nice chance on both colour sets.
Here's yellows that Andrew McKee elects. And he's got an excellent opportunity here. He has a couple of times, though, in this match, just potted himself into trouble. And he'll really want to stave off that in this frame of all frames. He's used the extension right at the start just to figure out his route.
Yeah, those ones in the triangle area are just congested enough that he needs to be, I was about to say he needs to be quite controlled when he works his way through them, but he's decided to play cannon into them, which I'm quite surprised at, because I don't think he needed to play cannon.
And it might have left him very, very difficult to find a route out of it. At least the potting one, for sure. I remember a conversation we once had, Simon. You told me the number one thing on a break is you always want to avoid playing cannons, because they're the bits you can't control.
Yeah, and you're playing at a pace where you are going to be moving them quite a bit. I think if all your balls are open, then, you know, in an ideal world, you do not want to move them. You want to just work your way around them. He felt in that occasion that, although they went, he was better off by nudging into them, but it went wrong. So Alex is going to get back to the table.
He's fighting to stay in the match, and he's got a chance of doing it. The first shot is going to be his issue, though. He has got the cut maybe to the middle if that one goes straight across.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a tough cut to the middle, maybe a cut to the top corner as well, or just a safety shot. It is a safety shot.
If he played it any harder, he'd have gone in and fluked it. He'd have been due one, in fairness.
Yes, he would. But he knew where he was leaving the white. He knew he was leaving nothing on, no damage done. He's got control of the frame with the bottom right-hand corner. So he's waited for a better opportunity to go for the frame. It was one of those situations that if he'd gone for that cut to the top corner or to the left centre of it, if it went, he was going to be potentially leaving Andrew with a chance to leave him pot on. And if you leave him a pot on, even though you've got the bottom right-hand corner covered, the skill shot element gives you the chance to fly into that area and open everything up. So he's got to be, you know, that's why he's played the shot choice he has.
It's a touch of a strange shot, that from Andrew, just because, yes, he's got a very nice snooker, but he has knocked a couple of his yellows safe in the process.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's great. He's played the shot he's played really, really well, because he's got the snooker, which was hard to do without the number of reds on the table, but he's made another yellow awkward, and this is the easiest escape you could imagine. I was going to say before, you know, he's played the shot quicker than I could. It's the easiest escape you could imagine, and I'd be shocked if he doesn't leave a snooker back. But he's actually left Andrew a chance. If he wants it, he's got a cut to the bottom left, and the white's going to go across into the red and yellow that's causing him the most problems.
He has been very aggressive in this match. It wouldn't surprise me to see him take it on. It looks like he is. He is indeed. Oh, where's that white ball? Well, if Andrew McKee ends up winning this game, my first question in the post-match interview is, what are next week's lottery numbers?
Yeah, he's had a couple of touches in the last 3-4 frames, that is for certain. He's been very lucky not to go in off. If he goes in off there, that's frame over, but he hasn't been rewarded with a chance to win the frame. I wonder if he takes the yellow on the rail to the top right. It's an incredibly tough pot, but if he makes it, he'll have a chance to win the frame. If he doesn't, he's not going to leave much. No, if that was what he was trying, he missed it by a long way. He may have just been trying to get the white behind the yellows and not worried about the pot at all.
Yeah, it's tough to say, really. Either way, it's not come off what he wanted to do, because Alex has a decent opportunity here.
Yeah, this is a very nice opportunity to take us to a decider.
Lovely to see another decent crowd in here in Solihull. They were raucous last week when Lee Warren won through. That was another sort of nice angle of it. He had all his mates in.
Yeah,
local qualifier.
I think that definitely helped him as well. There was a really nice crowd, and I know that Andy enjoyed playing in that crowd, but he was well aware they were all cheering against him and not for him. But they were also really, really respectful as well. They weren't, you know, it was really, really good to see.
Oh, he's got a good chance here. Really good chance, Alex O'Donoghue, to force us to a decider.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that red that's at the bottom end of the table passes the yellow. I don't think that's a problem at all. He's going to take it now and just screw up to somewhere level with the middle pockets.
And if he does manage to do this, this will be our first round one game decider. All of our previous games involving seeds haven't gone the distance. Luke Sanjeev is the only seed to be beaten in the first round. Did that last week against Andy Blurst, and he put in a great display to win. Alex O'Donoghue does take us to a decider. We go the distance in our first game. For the first time on Freesports, it's been close. It's been to and fro, and Alex will be delighted to get that one back and forth decider, because if he had have lost it in the way that he could have lost it, it would have been mightily frustrating for him.
Yeah, that would have been a really tough drive home to Swindon for Alex had he sat there from 4-2 down, and when Andrew was on the finish off his break, he was potentially sitting 4-2 down and only playing 2 more shots, and seeing the fortune that Andrew had, that would have been tough to take. But at least he's managed to get himself back to a level and into a decider. But it is Andrew's break, and he has broken cleared his last 2 breaks with very, very big breaks. So, you know, from Alex's side of the table, he still needs a bit of help from Andrew.
He does indeed. Shake of hands between the players. And Andrew will be hoping for a similarly big break that he's already produced 5 times. He has broken wonderfully well. He gets into them again really nicely. How's it ended up for him is the big question. Well, he's got a shot.
He'll be thrilled. He's got work, but he'll be thrilled that he's made a ball. It's more work than he's had in his previous 2 breaks, but you know, in a deciding frame of a match, you just want to make a ball, get some control in the frame, and I think he's a little bit close to the rail, a little bit close to the cushion, but he does have an option to pop the red to the top right and screw down the table into the red and yellow, and then go reds. It'd be hard to see. The only problem with the shot is he's going to have to raise the butt of the cue up quite a long way and get into the white to create the angle. It's not that easy, but the shot's on. He may be able to take the red to the centre, the one he's nearest to, first. Just stun it in there and then play the shot I'm talking about. Just because it means he'll be further away from the rail, but I'm not sure if that red goes looking from this angle.
Yeah, it's tough to say. One thing that it's pretty easy to say is the shot you're describing is difficult, because to play screw on this, no, he's not even thinking about it. He is taking the one to the top right.
I'm really, really surprised at that, because I now don't know how he's going to get that red out, and that red's a real problem. He's not come out particularly well here. I think all he can do is pop the one over the bottom left. He would have really had to raise the butt up a lot. That would have been really tough, but the red was close enough to the pocket that the pot wasn't going to be a problem for him. Because the red doesn't even, you can't double the red out. The yellow stops the double. The yellow would double, I think, but the red certainly doesn't.
He's played the plant quite nicely there. Got rid of the problem ball and kept control of the pocket at the same time, but...
Right, he can go into it now. That was a really, really well played shot. That was a much better shot than it looks, because that red over the pocket's further away than it, than if it's right over the pocket, that's easy, but being, even at 3-4 inches it was away, makes a massive difference.
Well, as Simon said, he's going to try and play the white up into the 2, and he's got the angle slightly wrong. And now he's in trouble.
Yeah, it's all gone. That first shot just didn't go as he planned. I know he didn't play the shot I talked about, but the shot he had played, which I'm not entirely sure what it wasn't as it came out. I think he was playing a cannon to leave himself on the reds to the top end of the table, but it's all sort of gone wrong from that first shot. And as I've said a few times tonight and through the 7 weeks, it's the more balls you pot without making the finish, the easier you're going to make the game for your opponent.
Yeah, he could swerve around and try and pot it, but as you can see, wasn't really on for him.
He's not had the worst result in terms of he hasn't left Alex an easy pot. Yes, he's got the one next to the black. And he doesn't have the, it's going to sound strange to say he doesn't have the easiest safety. He doesn't have the easiest safety in terms of putting Andrew into too much trouble. I think Andrew can just rest onto the red and not leave Alex anything now. I mean, Alex is still miles in front, don't get me wrong, in this safety battle. It's only going to be a matter of time before he gets a chance to win the frame and the match. But Andrew's got a chance to hang in off this next shot.
Andrew is almost just hoping for a mistake here at this point, isn't he?
Yeah, he's looking for a mistake or a half a chance or something that he can get creative on.
Well, putting that red in the open is maybe not the worst idea, because then it becomes very accessible and difficult to snooker.
Yeah, no, that's that's definitely to Andrew's advantage. Just wondering if Alex wants to float the yellow in down the rail and then get the white across to the left-hand side of the table.
And that's exactly the shot he played. Was a bit of a shot to nothing.
Yeah, I think so much so he wasn't even attempting the pot. It was only about getting the white. The reason I thought he might float it in, because to make it sit over the pocket and have the same outcome, but he's just played the white, and he's played it very, very well. I don't think he's got the total snooker, because I think Andrew can actually see the one on the rail. I don't think he can see the two up the table. Certainly can't see the one nearest the left-hand side. Don't think he can see either of them, so Alex would love to see, yeah, you can see that red on the rail. Alex would love to see him play that shot, play that ball.
And he is. I tell you what, he's played that really, really well.
Yeah, you can see the tap on the table from Alex. That was a really nicely played shot, because it's so easy to overhit that shot, and if you bump the red out and almost catch the yellow a little bit as well, there's every chance you leave the match on for Alex with that shot there. So brilliant well played, but he's still just hanging on.
And even to go the other way, more difficult to do, but if he'd have under hit it and just skimmed it and it hadn't come off the cushion, it would have been a foul. But it is an opening for Alex O'Donoghue.
Yeah, and he's not going to wait around for Andrew to gift it to him. He is going after this now. He's left himself an angle on this yellow to the top left. He's going to try and cannon into that red and develop the yellow. Looks like he might have to play it with a trace of check side to create that angle.
It's a pretty big target with the cushion right next to it. To knock this red out. He hasn't hit it.
Yeah, it did need. It was actually quite a bit aside he would have needed to create that angle. Will he slow down now and get back to playing another safety shot? Or he's going to go after it again. Right, another safety. And he's left Andrew almost an identical shot to the previous one, probably a fraction easier than the previous shot of a similar nature.
He's going to turn it down. Oh no, this could be interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty good for Andrew.
It might force Alex to play his yellow on the rail here.
Yeah, I think Alex may well play the yellow on the rail now. I'm just wondering if he plays the yellow on the rail full ball and leaves the white where the yellow is and bumps the yellow out, he's not going to leave anything on, and whatever Andrew does, there we go, whatever Andrew does, all Alex's balls go now. So the pressure is really on to Andrew now.
Has to get a really, really good white ball. It's the only thing he can really do here. There's no places to hide, as it were, for a snooker.
Yeah, his margin of error on this shot is very, very small. So he's going to brush off one red, trying to get behind the other.
He's played it pretty well, but I think Alex has a shot.
Yeah, you see him have a good look. No, I think it's pretty sure he hasn't got a shot because of his reaction. And that's a really well played shot from Andrew if he hasn't left anything on.
Here it is again. Just how difficult is this to get right?
Yeah, it's just his margin of error was so small. If he slides past the red, he's leaving a yellow onto the bottom end of the table, and the match is he's leaving the match for his opponent. And you could see he's right on the edge of reaching. He's probably only got a ball and a half to play the white into with the shot he played, and he's just landed. I think he's playing the swerve. He is. Great shot.
Played it really well, and it could be a match winner for Alex O'Donoghue. Oh, he's played that superbly.
Yeah, just need the slightest swerve. It didn't need much at all.
But that, in essence, it almost made it difficult because of that. It needed a precise element of swerve.
Yeah, and the yellow that he was playing onto the other, the yellow that was nearest the pocket, there was enough distance from the pocket that it's so hard to get that shot right. He's played it really, really well. He still needs to pull another good positional shot out. Don't think the yellow next to the black goes into the centre, which means he needs to get onto it into the corner, and he wants to be pretty straight on it. He won't want much angle on that shot.
Yeah, the easier the shot as possible really hit.
It's just about okay. He would have loved another. No, actually, I say he would have loved another inch. That's absolutely perfect because he can just stun this in now. Leave the white just above the black.
The frame is now at Alex O'Donoghue's mercy. Match likewise. dead straight. As you can see, no angle on it. He would have preferred to be straight from this. It's, dare say it's a touch missable. He's going straight after it. And he gets it. Good part. That was, for a match-winning black, more difficult than he would have preferred that, but that's a great way to end a really good match.
Yeah, cracking match, actually. And the thing I'm most impressed about there is Alex's temperament. He's watched the match sort of been taken away from him, and he's able to hold his nerve and come back with two really well-played frames at the end to win that.
And isn't it remarkable? Andrew McKee pops more balls, loses the match. I think it's the first time we've seen that in the Champions Cup. It does happen every now and then, especially in set play, but he'll feel he had the chances to win. That'll stay with him a little while, I think.
Yeah, I think more so to win 6-4. I think that chance to win 6-4, he'll be annoyed that he didn't take because they were there. He didn't have to play any cannons, although he chose to. That frame, he was chasing it a little bit more. Yeah, but he had two chances to win and didn't manage to get the job done.
And we'll be hearing from the winner, Alex O'Donoghue, after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
IPA Freesports Champions Cup with the winner of our first semi-final. Alex, first of all, welcome back. How did it feel to be back out there on the table?
Yeah, it's good to be back. I've had 3 months off now, so it's good to get back playing. The quick cloth caught me out a bit in the first 2 frames, but after that I settled down quite nicely. And
of course, not just back playing, but back winning as well. What were you expecting from this game? Because almost coming in a little bit blind.
I've played a bit of snooker lately, and I've been playing quite well, but it's a 50-50 game, to be honest. From 4-2 up, I sort of felt in control. Obviously, the black was safe, and he flew the black, and everything went wrong from there, sort of thing.
Did that sort of few minutes of play just make you convince yourself in your own mind, this just isn't my night?
No, I mean a little bit, but when I was 5-4 down, I sort of thought I haven't done a lot wrong. I got kicked it off, but it was a bad break, like I said to you earlier. But you think things like that, but I thought I was playing all right. Apart from the first 2 frames, I settled down okay.
And in terms of the next game you'll have, the final, obviously, you're going to keep an eye on this semi and scout out the opposition? Yeah,
I might grab a bite to eat and then watch a bit of the match. Be good to see, local qualifier, so it's a great crowd.
Yeah, with a great crowd in tonight. Is it nice to come back to a game like this where there's a bit of atmosphere and a bit of an occasion about it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't expect this, to be honest, I didn't expect this many people, and it was great here last week, so it's good to play in an atmosphere like that.
Well, we look forward to seeing you later on. Congratulations.
Cheers, thank you.
And let's take a look at how he got himself there. Back then, a very, very happy Alex O'Donoghue there. That's about as happy as he ever gets, apparently. I'm joined by Kev Barton on the commentary duty for our second semi-final. Jack Whelan taking on Matt Ward. You got a chance to have a little chat with Alex O'Donoghue there. You mentioned that's about as happy as he ever gets, but I think deep down he'd be delighted with how that's gone.
Yes, 4-2. It looked like it was Alex's match, and he was going to grind out a victory, and then Andrew McKee got that fluke black, and then all of a sudden it was 5-4 to him, and then Alex, he stole the last 2 frames, and yeah, that's certainly the happiest I've seen him in many years. Yeah, he almost moved an eyebrow. It was quite incredible. So yeah. He will be delighted to win that.
The pool version of the Iceman. Well, we've got a really interesting game coming up here. On your left is Jack Whelan. He was our 2015 world champion. On the right, Matt Ward, Riley's qualifier. You heard a bit of atmosphere there in the background as they went off for the lag. And the reason why is because Matt Ward plays here most weeks. He's very well known round these circles, and he's seen his mate Lee Warren win last week. He will be full of confidence for this, full of nerves as well, no doubt, but full of confidence.
Yeah, one thing's for certain, he's going to get some huge support. There's quite a crowd out there. It's a great atmosphere, and this is the one that they've been waiting for.
And he's into the table straight away. It's a dry break from Jack Whelan, and I don't think he'll be too fussed about that, because with the white screwing right onto the bottom cushion, I'm not sure he'd have had a shot. There is Jack Whelan. huge favourite for this one. But essentially, he is almost heading into the unknown. Matt Ward has not played many tour events, and really comes into this as a total unknown quantity.
Yeah, he's got absolutely nothing to lose, and you know, he's going to take inspiration from what happened last week, and you can see straight away he's not messing about. If he gets half a chance, and he's gonna be going for them, and absolutely the right way to play. He's not going to die wondering, that's for certain.
There's almost a nervous energy about him, isn't there? He's away.
So far, so good. So you know, getting those early pots will, you know, should help to settle those nerves. He's got a tricky plant here. I think he's going to have to play now. If he can nail this, then he's got every chance.
And he doesn't quite. He just surveys the table. He'll be wondering how he's left them. He was close. Did he need to play it at that pace, Kev, is the first thing I think there?
Yeah, I think he did. Maybe not quite as hard, but yeah, he needed to put a good stroke on it. And, you know, if he had got it, he would have been absolutely flying there. But he hands the table over to Jack, and at the recent tour event in Aberdeen, there was signs that Jack Whelan was coming back to some form, which is ominous for the Matt Ward supporters. And yeah, he was telling me he was breaking really well. And one of the features of when he won the world title in 2015 was the way he was breaking. I mean, he wasn't just putting ones and twos; he was putting threes and fours, and that was you know, what was the bedrock of his World Championship victory.
Yeah, it's fair to say. I think Jack would be one of the first to admit he's not kicked on as he might have hoped after that World Championship win.
Yeah, I think he's not quite reached those heights. It's there in spells, just not quite done it consistently. I think he's you know, had a few things going on in his life, and he's maybe not quite practiced as much. You know, got married and all those sort of things, and so yeah, they're all going to have an impact. But certainly, you know, on his day, he's absolute class act.
He's attempted the double there, but almost as a shot to nothing. He's left the white ball very safe. Just ran ever so slightly out of position. Jack Whelan there. It was a very tough setup for him on the yellows. Really wasn't easy. And I think he's just almost, for want of a better phrase, taken the easy way out and given Matt something to think about here.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange shot. It was neither one thing nor the other, but one thing's for certain, Matt's not messing about. Where's that white going though?
Oh, he's unlucky. If he hadn't have just nicked the red on the way through, he'd have cannoned into the yellow and he'd have been absolutely fine.
Yeah, he was pretty unlucky there. You just couldn't have predicted that little nudge, as he said there, on the red. And I mean, there's only ball width to get through there between the yellow and the knuckle, and unfortunately for Matt, he found it.
Yeah, he really couldn't do that again if he tried, Matt Ward. And this has come out pretty nicely for Jack Whelan. He'll be a little bit frustrated the black's gone right onto the cushion, but that won't be too much of a worry for now. He's got a chance to win the frame.
Yeah, it's just going to be key about getting good position on this yellow on the bottom rail, which will be his last ball, I suspect. He could play for it after this pot. No, didn't quite have the angle. So this is a little bit tricky. Just going to have to screw the white ball past this red ball. It's about a foot to its left, just like that. Getting a little bit thinner than what he would have hoped. Probably going to play with a little bit of right hand side.
Oh, he's played that really nicely. Just dropped. And there goes the black. Good clear from Jack Whelan. And essentially that is just a hold of his own break, as he mentioned, such a weapon, Kev, but he got there in the end. This is recent tournament history. He's been pretty active on the tour. He was recently in Wales at the Welsh Open, got beat by Mark Farnsworth in the last 16, who's probably the one player you don't want to run into in the last 16.
Yeah, the Aberdeen results have not been, we've not got them uploaded yet from last week, but he certainly had some good victories there, and you know, like I said, had a quick chat with him there, and he was you know, really pleased how he was playing and how he was breaking. If I'm not mistaken, I think he beat Gareth Hibbert 8-0 on this stream table. It's all a bit of a blur, is Aberdeen last week.
Well, I was talking to you earlier, and you say you've only just felt like you've recovered from it. It can be a grind, the tour, especially when you go all the way as far as Aberdeen. Hey,
I don't know whose idea it was to go to Aberdeen, but
wasn't yours, no.
I'm sitting on the fence on that one. But yeah, I mean, it was a great venue, but wow, it's a long way away.
So Matt has his first break, and he gets a ball, which is the most important part, and he got one right at the end as well. Let's have a look at this. The one in the top middle pocket as we look at this. Just gets a kick, one of the last balls on the move, and it goes. And it's not a bad lie for him, this.
Yeah, I think it's all about his first shot. Is he going to go for the plant on the yellows? He just screw the white back a touch.
Oh, he really doesn't mess about when he gets his hand down, does he? Very quick player, trusts his sort of natural instinct on the shot, if you like. Doesn't wait 30 seconds lining it up.
No, I don't think he'll be using many extensions in this match.
Yeah, he's almost, you know, you call it in other sports, a bit of a touch player in that sense.
Yeah, he must trust his eyes, just getting down, potting the balls. Not sure how much experience he's got of playing on the Strachan 861 blue cloth. I know they have got some tables here in Riley's. So, and the qualifiers was played on this cloth, and I do know that. So,
it's something that Alex O'Donoghue actually alluded to in his post-match interview just before. He said the pace of the cloth completely caught him out in the first couple of frames, and as Matt forced into a state there, just ran ever so slightly out of position, and wasn't prepared to go chasing it. It's quite a conservative approach, probably the right approach.
Yes, it's going to be interesting how he's feeling in this match, because obviously he's an underdog, nothing to lose. You know, he's playing the 2015 world champ. He knows he's the underdog, but he's also going to have seen what happened last week, and want to emulate what Lee did. So it's a difficult one for him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you in a way. If you'd have seen Lee go out valiantly in the semi-final last week, he might not have felt this sort of pressure. But we know it can be done now. So qualifiers, we're watching you.
And the expectation from the crowd is as well, you know, that's out there supporting him, is that
it's a good shot.
Really egging him on.
It's a nice shot just to take back the pocket, and doesn't. I think Jack can knock that red past the yellow, but that yellow on the move still now at the bottom cushion will stop him from doing that. So it does just about work out what he was intending to do.
I think he's just going to look to take the bag back. If the clearance was on, if he could get the white sort of in this sort of area, he could still pot that red into this bag there. Well, the clearance is on.
And I think he's just seen the opportunity to snooker him there and just thought, wow.
Why not? Yeah, I mean, he's using all that experience there to try and take complete control. Nice touch as well early on in the match to get right behind that red.
And needless to say, this is a horrible one to try and get out of.
Yeah, and what Jack's doing is he's silencing the crowd, and he's taking that element out. That's a great escape.
Oh, that's actually worked out really nicely for him. I think it's about as good as Matt Ward would have dreamed that happening.
Yeah, you could hear the crowd there showing their support for that one. We could hear that here in the commentary box. They're a couple of thick doors away from the crowd. So that gets Matt right back into this frame and almost forces Jack now. I think he's going for the clip into the corner bag as we look, bottom left.
Oh, he's played that really nicely, and he's knocked the yellow safe and knocked his reds out. That's a brilliant shot.
Yeah, that's a class shot, is that? He knew that was potentially, the frame lost if he didn't make it. So he would have been leaving an open table there for Matt, but played it with lots of control.
He's fizzed that one in, and just wonder if he's got position here. There's a Ward's reaction. Might have more of an idea from this angle. I'm not sure the red sneaks past the black there. He might have to move all the way up to.
Is he looking to take it off the black? Although he'll be mindful of that black heading towards the corner pocket, top right as we look. Can't quite tell from this angle. Yeah, it's played it off the black.
Oh my goodness me!
Where's the white going? Oh, I think it's stuck on the yellow.
Oh, this is really tough to tell. No, he's okay. You can see the red fine.
Wow.
He's actually ended up playing that millimetre, and I mean millimetre perfect. But goodness me, it also nearly went very badly wrong for him. But fortune favoured the brave on this instance. Yeah. And Jack Whelan takes his second frame.
Yeah, the black was always going close to that corner bag, but he judged it perfectly in the end. Another turn on that yellow though, another fraction of a millimetre. And the black nudged the yellow. That shot at everything.
It really did.
So Matt Ward, if he didn't know now, he knows what he's up against. Not the start he was looking for, that's for certain.
I've got a lot of time for the way that Matt Ward's standing for most of this. Whether it's nervous energy or almost a confidence that he's going to be having the next shot, I'm not too sure, but
might not just like sitting down.
All that too. I'm very much enjoying it. Jack Whelan there with the break. You mentioned how strong it is when it's on. He got really into it. Oh, he's gone in off. Wow. Can you hear the crowd? Here's your chance, Matt. You won't get a better chance to win a frame. These balls are split everywhere, and he's got a free shot to develop what he likes. This is dream scenario, this.
Yeah, so important that he holds himself together now to take these out. I mean, I suspect he's going to be looking at reds. I mean, he's fancying the yellows, but either suit, it shouldn't be a problem. There's nothing impeding anything. Everything's out in the open. It's just a matter of holding yourself together.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it, Kev? Because it was so open, he really could have made any choice there with that free shot, and we couldn't really have. We could play devil advocate on it, but we couldn't really criticise the choice because there were so many options.
Yeah. And he's just drilled that one in as well, so he's obviously feeling really confident. I would have thought reds would have been marginally easier, but you know, it's a coin flip on that one. He's just got to be a little bit careful here that he looking at getting position on the black. So he's going to take the one in the bottom left corner, then the one in the right middle that's nearest the black. I'm assuming that the black goes in the top left as well, looking now. But he's not got the perfect angle here. So he may have to run this through a touch and take the other red into the top corner. Or the bottom right corner as well, looking. Yeah, that's what he's got to play. He couldn't play for the centre back because the white would have been going away from the black. So yeah, he's thought that out well.
And he's also got a tiny little bit of angle which he might need just to get right behind this black, because as we just saw, it does go, but it's tight. It's not straightforward, this.
But he's in a great position with the white ball right behind the black. And that looks pretty good.
Yeah, lovely shot. Listen to the reaction, wow. Kev.
Incredible atmosphere out there, incredible atmosphere. Great to see.
Right, it's great to hear. it's noisy out there, wonderful stuff.
So Matt Ward back in it, 2-1. And it's his break.
This is a reminder of the draw in the IPA Freesports Champions Cup. This is the top half of it. The last 64 being every player in the Champions Cup, essentially. We see our week 1 and week 3 there, I think. No, week 4. Week 1 and week 4 there at the top. Mark Farnsworth and Christian Phillips advancing from those 4 fixtures, beating Mickey Oliver and Curtis Lee, respectively. Plenty still to come.
Some great matches coming up. Some absolutely superb matchups there.
Well, how about the women's champion versus the men's world champion?
World champion runner-up, yeah. So,
oh, of course, yeah. I've almost given him too much credit there. Two of the finalists from the World Championship, shall we say? That's what we'll bill that one as. And Matt Ward's made a ball. You can hear it before you see it that he's made a ball when he breaks.
Yeah, he's well, the story of the break, I've just you know, waxed lyrical about Jack Whelan's break. He's not potted one, and Matt's 2 for 2. I mean, it's a crazy game.
Oh, it's a very good shot as well. He's got a very aggressive, very creative game to him, Matt Ward. Doesn't mess about too much, but he doesn't mind playing a bit of a creative shot when it's on. That was really nicely done.
That's a stop.
Oh, he's just got into that too much, hasn't he? It might be break over. Although the two at the top of the table, well, he's going straight after them.
Yeah, still got options. That looks good.
Yeah, lovely shot. And does that pass the red?
That's incredibly tight. I assume it does with him playing it at that pace.
Yeah, I initially thought whether he might be in trouble because... yeah, we'll see this in just a second, I think.
Just needs to run the white through. Oh.
He nearly knocked the black in as well.
Just rush that one a little bit, I think. There's a fast play, but even fast players can rush shots. He only had he had half a bag at best on that one, so I just needed to probably give that one a little bit more care.
And these are the chances that Jack Whelan will know that he really has to take. because if he lets Matt Ward make mistakes and stay in frames, he's only going to gain confidence from that, and that is, as we've seen with Lee Warren last week, very dangerous.
Absolutely, yeah, and he'd bring the crowd back into play as well, and you know, they could have a big impact on this match.
Yeah, of course, and we saw last week when Lee Warren had his semi-final against Phil Parkin. It was obvious that Lee made mistakes initially because nerves, the quick table, all the factors coming into it. Matt will make mistakes. That's the nature of the game as it is anyway, and the nature of him being where's that black ball?
It's dropped in.
Would you believe it? Incredible.
What's going on? Well, he diced with death in the frame before, where it on the second frame, sorry, and that one was it dangled agonisingly on the end, and then popped in.
He looks almost confused there, doesn't he, Jack Willie? I don't know whether he can't believe that he didn't see that the black could go in, or he doesn't believe that it did.
Yeah, I think he's played it with quite a bit of pace, assuming that anything other than straight in and it won't drop. But he played it at the worst possible pace, really, and he gave the pocket every chance to take the black.
Yeah, it was almost in direct contrast to the one where he almost went in the last time.
Time running.
That's a good break from Jack. Makes a ball. The split is a big one, and you can see that just by the sheer volume of the balls at the top of the table. There's more at the top than there is at the bottom.
Yeah, he could. He's certainly got options here. I think if he can. I think he's probably going to be tempted for yellows here. Again, you could argue for reds, but I think reds, yellows, give him the best option. He can just put this one into the bottom right corner as Wilkin now, and just try and kiss onto the left hand of those two yellows, just to completely open those two balls up together, and but he's gone for reds.
After all that, you explained beautifully how he could go yellows, and he's gone in direct contrast.
That's why I'm sat here, and he's sat there.
And he's left himself perfect on his problem ball. It's the only place he can pop this ball. He's played that really nicely, actually.
Dropping this one in.
And he can just clip this one into the middle. Doesn't have to worry about that this time. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, it's nicely played.
Because he had to nail that absolutely perfect, because the pace he played it, if he was ever so slightly off with that, he'd have jawed.
Yeah, so he's just going to pop this one into the corner bag, and he may just nudge onto the yellow to knock it out. Oh, he's not made a great job of that one.
Just get the sense he's chasing this one a little bit, Jack here.
Yeah, that was a routine shot there, and he's just completely misjudged it. I think he's really going to have to take this right into the left middle.
This is missable.
Has it got the legs?
Oh, he's played that so well. And that's, you know, the ability of Jack Whelan. That's what they've got in the locker when they do run out of position, which admittedly isn't all that often. They've got that incredible passing ability to get them out of it, and he will have to do that touch on this black. This black isn't easy. He's quite far away from it.
It's certainly no gimme under the pressure.
He nails it. Again, nice to see a very partisan crowd, let's be honest with you, but they're very knowledgeable about the game. They always appreciate when a good player is playing good shots.
Yeah, they know their pool in this neck of the woods, and like you say, very appreciative of a great finish there from Jack.
And here we see the bottom half of the draw, where previously we saw the top. The top two games, Ronan McCarthy and Lee Ray getting through the semi-final stage. Ronan McCarthy winning through in the final there. Jordan Shepherd in the middle, lost out to Jason Remington eventually in Sheffield, and Craig Marsh through pretty easily from the bottom four. You can see the fixtures we've got next week. John McAllister taking on Ben Rowland, Luke Wrigglesworth taking on Harry Irwin. That's next week's fixtures, and really looking forward to seeing John McAllister on the Champions Cup in particular.
Yeah, one of the form players at the moment. Yeah, really playing incredibly solid. Won the Open event in Aberdeen. Fantastic performance in a thrilling final with Greg Batten. That if you've not watched that, catch that on the IPA YouTube channel, because that was a superb match. And Luke Wrigglesworth and Harry Irwin, again, two excellent players on the day, can beat anyone. So should be in for a treat next week, definitely.
We can't wait to see that, and we can't wait to see the second half of this one, Jack Whelan versus Matt Ward. We'll resume after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
And welcome back to Solihull, week number 7 of the IPA Freesports Champions Cup. Jack Whelan and Matt Ward are head-to-head in this one. Former world champion versus O'Reilly's qualifier. It's stuff dreams were made of for Matt Ward, and he's giving it a good go, isn't he, Kev?
He is, and you know, he's only 3-2 down. It's his break, so you know, nothing in it at all. This match could go either way, you know, if the crowd get involved, as they are doing now. Well,
they'll do that.
Hold on to your hats, because we could be in for a close one here.
Out with the break, he makes a ball. And he's got half a chance here, I think.
Yeah, whilst ever he's at the table, he's got options, and whilst Reds look, you know, not obvious, I think they're definitely the ones he's going to be looking at. But he could go for yellows as well. I mean, there's not much in it. He's off and running now on yellows. They all go, so he's nothing to move, nothing to develop. There's 2 yellows together. They both go in the bottom left-hand corner or top left as we're looking.
Yeah, just has to manage the white. That's always the hardest thing with a break like this. When all the balls are quite close together and congested, puts the pressure on the cue ball control.
Yeah, it's managing the white. It's managing yourself under these really strange conditions that the players are not used to.
Well, especially it must be so strange actually for Matt, because he's used to playing in this venue. Plays here probably most days, and to see it like this will be a strange experience for him.
Absolutely, yeah. It's even the experienced guys are, you know, feeling it. So, but these guys from Solihull, these qualifiers, they're showing the way for all the others that are to come over the next 9 weeks. So I think the bottom of the 2 yellows will go into this bottom left-hand corner when he pots the one into the left middle.
Just has to make sure he gets above the middle of the table for the black, because the black's easy where it's left off the break. Just needs to leave himself enough angle, and I think he has. Just to swing it around the bottom of the table. I think he should be okay. Oh, he's just going to screw it back. He's played that really nicely. That's a lovely shot. 3 apiece. The crowd goes wild.
Yeah, that's a break and dish start for Matt there. Great positional shot there, judged it well, through the gap, easy black.
He's played that beautifully, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the most impressive thing we've seen so far from Matt. He's made some nice pots and, you know, had a couple of decent safety battles, but that was really, really good. And here's just a reminder of our finals that we've seen so far. We have had 6, and there you see Lee Warren's name towards the middle of that. Jordan Shepherd just below him. He was a seed that went out to Jason Rimington. Mark Farnsworth was very, very impressive. So too Ronan McCarthy in the games in Washington, both getting whitewash victories in the final. I think it's fair to say that those 2 have looked the most impressive so far in this Champions Cup circuit.
Yeah, and I think the exciting thing is that you know, we've still got the likes of world champ Ben Davis, world championship runner-up Simon Ward, John McAllister. You know, still to come. You know, another 9 weeks of the qualifiers. So, yeah, Farnsworth and McCarthy, they're the 2 standout performances. But you know, there's plenty more to come, and it's all building up nicely for the last 16 playoffs.
Yeah, it really is. I must say, I'm excited to watch John McAllister next week. He's really started the year very, very well. Was excellent in the World Championships actually in Bradford, and maybe a little bit unlucky not to go a bit further. He had a tremendous game against one of the eventual finalists. And Remember you mentioned towards the start of this that when Jack's break was on, he was potting 3 or 4. That was just a sign of what he can do off his break. They went flying everywhere.
2 yellows, 1 red.
Yeah, he's already taking a look at the black because he's that confident the rest of the balls are fairly straightforward.
He's going to hit this thin and try and disturb the red and yellow, just like that. Needs that yellow to bounce a bit more.
Yeah, it's not ideal. He might come back to that. It's just seeing how he can.
Yes, I think he'll be taking this one into there first, then the top one into that bag. Then he'll be looking to play this one down the rail. Is it that a little bit too thin? So he's going to have to change his plan. When he potted that, he went into the left-hand side of that of the centre pocket.
He nearly missed it. Really did use all the pocket there. And you can see there he's almost dead straight. In fact, I think he is. He can maybe force a bit of an angle, maybe half a pocket's worth.
So he's going for the back double.
Yeah, that's why.
Normally a very good doubler.
Oh, doesn't want to be snookered. Oh, can you see the potting angle? That's the question. This yellow does go up to the top right. It's just whether you can see the potting angle on it. I think he's okay. I think he can sneak this past. He can.
It's whether he can just run the white through, or he's going to have to punch it off the side rail. He's just glided it in, left himself a thin cut. There's probably 2 ways he can play this. I think I prefer just to play this plain ball and bring the white down the right-hand side for the black into the middle. So the red into there and the white sort of down this sort of line.
Oh, but he's missed the yellow. He's missed the yellow. Now, Matt Ward. Here's an opportunity for you.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to miss the pot because he didn't really have to do too much. He just had to concentrate on the pot, and the white was going a natural angle down to this end of the table. So that is a surprising miss. Yeah, just hit it too thick. And that's why the white was further to the right hand side than my line was. If it had taken the pot where he wanted to pot it, the white would have been probably about 6 to 8 inches left of where it is now, and it would have been perfect for the black in the middle.
Yeah, he did have a margin for error as well, because he could pretty much leave that anywhere really in the bottom right of the table and still have a pretty decent shot. Now, it's not a miss. He's meant to play that. And he's got the snooker spot on. The only risk is, I mean, it is a risk, is that if Jack hits this, he's pretty much guaranteed to pot it.
Yes, I think he may well look at the swerve, the massey around the red. He has got a couple of options. Yeah, he could try and spin it round. Maybe come around the back.
Oh, what a shot that is. And look where he's going to leave the white.
Wow.
Look where he's left the white. That is, I mean, that's a world-class shot.
It is.
From a full world champion. Big smile on his face as well. He's delighted with that. Check that out.
Yeah, he's played that with so much bottom left-hand side. And he deserved the positional shot after such an incredible escape.
That's such a good shot. It really is. He's hit that with so much spin on the ball.
Yes, I was looking at the 3-cushion escape, but Jack had other ideas. and judge that. I mean, absolutely incredible shot. Incredible shot.
You can almost see the way he struck that with his cue. He almost swerves the cue around as he plays it. Almost like a topspin shot in tennis, doesn't he? He put absolutely everything in that to get as much spin possible.
Yep.
That's a real champagne shot from Jack Whelan, and the crowd have reacted really positively to that, and they know they've seen something pretty good.
But it's still only 4-3. It's still only with the break, and you know, breaking dish from Matt, and we're back on a level pegging in a best of 3. So
I think Jack's just enjoyed watching that one back on some of the screens here in Riley. he's just glorying himself in that moment there, and why not? Absolutely wonderful shot. Most importantly, it puts him back in the lead, and he will have a chance here because it's not a great break from Matt, not the greatest spread, and he hasn't got one down.
No, I didn't get much movement on those balls really there, so quite timed that as well. So was that black? Was that escape and then position on the black? Is that a turning point in this match? I'll find out over the next 5-10 minutes.
Just sizing up the lie of the table here. And he's gone with his extension, and it's easy to see why. There's arguments for both colours here. They're both almost as tricky as each other.
Yeah, I think what he's looking to do is to back clip this yellow into that pocket and possibly send the white into the black.
Oh, he doesn't want to go in off though. That's the one thing he didn't want to do.
Couldn't draw a line for that shot.
Well, it's been all action with Jack Whelan tonight. That's one thing. He just got his line slightly wrong. I think you were right. He was trying to play the shot into the black, but no doubt about it. To catch the red full on as he did with the contact they did, so essentially play a skill shot on it. It's pretty unfortunate. Oh, and that's come out pretty nicely for Matt, I have to say. Just wanted that yellow to sit a little more over the middle pocket, but apart from that, I think he'll like the look of this.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that shot. I think he could have looked to do something a little bit more thought out. He's just got down and tried just to smash the balls and develop them, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you are trusting to look a little bit. The black's not easy, so maybe he could have looked to develop something with the black as well, but we'll see how he gets on. But the yellows are not easy. He's got that yellow on the left cushion, he's got the yellow near the red, he's got the black tied up, so plenty of work to do.
Yeah, he has got some figuring out to do, that's for sure.
He doesn't need to move any of the yellows. He can just play positional shots. He doesn't need to play any cannons. This yellow does go into this pocket. He could maybe pop this one into here and screw the white in this sort of area.
That's what he's played.
So he's got a few options here. I suspect he's going to play the one into the top right and try and bump the one off the rail.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's not straight in it, but it's giving him the angle to do just that. That's a great shot. Can he see the potting angle, the one over the pocket now? If he can, then he's got half a chance. The black's still an issue for him though, Kev.
It is. If he can hold this white, if he can pop this one into there and just hold this white ball sort of in this area, then he'll be able to pop this one into the middle, screw the white over here, and then he's going to have the black into that back. He's just got to hold this one as best he can. He'd liked that white ball to be off the cushion a little bit more, so he could have got to the bottom of the white and to make the stun across easier.
Yeah, he's actually now looking at the cannon, just because that might be his only option.
Yeah, and
it's not guaranteed to be on this at all.
No, he's going to have to judge this absolutely perfectly if he's playing the cannon. So he's going to look to pop that in into the middle and bring the white off the left-hand side of that red, so it sends it over to this side of the table. Oh, he's unlucky there. He's judged the cannon to perfection.
He is unlucky. He's very, very unlucky. Jack Whelan back at the table.
But he's underhit that one.
And here was the shot. Just jawed it. I was going to say, I thought initially he might have been unlucky. It went in and out, but it was. Oh, I tell you what, Jack Whelan. He's played some shots in this game, hasn't he? Another tremendous shot.
I'm not sure he was bothered for that being potted, to be honest, because it was all about the safety, and he's going to play safety now. He doesn't want to knock that yellow out.
Yeah, that's a bit safer.
Well, there is a shot here. It's a tricky one, but he can send the white off the top rail, kiss the yellow, put the yellow into there, and the white comes over there for the black into the corner.
You make it look so easy,
So
Kev.
easy. It's so easy. Just follow the lines. But the shot is on. You know, it's a half ball contact on the yellow. It's close. He's got the pot.
Snooking on the black, though. Needed to play that with a lot more pace on it.
The crowd were urging that white to get across. He's played. We couldn't quite see that, but
came off the red. It wasn't quite the angle that he wanted.
Yeah.
If he's been really picky, and now that it has hit the red, he actually wouldn't have wanted that to go in, because it means he's now at a real disadvantage.
Well, at least he's got a shot, and you know he's only a fluke away from 4-all. He's going to be. He won't be shot of pace on this one. Where's that black going? It's flying around. It's got a nudge, but the white's gone in.
Well, that's the one thing he didn't want, was the white to go in, but he gave it a go. Jack Whelan now. Surely is with an opportunity to win the frame here.
Yeah, trusting to luck there, but you know he didn't have any other option, so it was all about getting plenty of movement on that white ball and giving every bagger a chance to accept it. As it is, it didn't quite work out, so Jack's a couple of pots away in the black from taking a 5-3 lead in this match, and just needing one frame to get to the final.
Nicely done. And he's one away. Well, Matt Waters has given it a real go. He really has, and he can perhaps count himself a little unlucky not to have got more out of that frame, but Jack Whelan really did punish him.
Yeah, a couple of, you know, little rolls here and there, and he could have had a shot on the black into the corner, but like you say, it just wasn't to be. The pool gods just weren't smiling on him enough in that frame.
Here's a reminder of our last 16 draw as it stands. Ronan McCarthy and Craig Marsh still waiting for opponents, but we know who we will see in 2 of our last 16 games. Mark Farnsworth taking Christian Phillips, and Lee Warren, the qualifier, already knows his game. He'll face Jason Remington. The 2 players who've knocked out seeds have a chance to go a little further. They're not playing one of the other seeds. It's half a chance.
That's right. They'll have a little eye on the quarterfinals, but back to Jack Whelan. Where's that white going? Oh, it's just avoided the enough.
I think that's going to. Oh, it so nearly came up dry.
And he's going to like those reds. He's going to like the look of those.
He so nearly came up dry there. The last ball on the move has ended up going in the pocket. It was a really good split, and I thought he was going to be very, very unlucky. Just see that yellow there creeping in. And yeah, you're right, the reds are already on the way. And it wouldn't surprise me here to see these two players shaking hands in, well, about 2 minutes' time. It's what should happen from here, really, the player of Jack's ability.
Yes, I'd be surprised if he makes a mistake. It's not routine, but the pattern almost takes care of itself. Just going to take these two in the left hand on the left hand side of the table. That makes his work a lot easier. He's just going to stun this white ball probably about 8 inches to the left of the red.
Wants to be a little bit further across than that.
Yeah, I'd like another inch, but I think he's probably pretty straight on this. He can probably just run it through. Is he screwing back for the black into the middle? Yeah.
And nicely played. This then for the match for Jack Whelan. He's been given a real good go by Matt Ward, but this is to put an end to all that, and he does it. Great performance from Jack Whelan. Matt Ward really put him through that. Jack Whelan's had to play very well and had to play some very, very good shots to win that. He knows he's been in the game, and the local crowd here very appreciative once again of Jack's performance. They'll be very proud of how Matt's played though.
Yeah, he certainly didn't disgrace himself whatsoever, and yeah, great performance, following on the back of what Lee Warren did last week, and you know, a couple of rolls here and there, and you know, we could have been looking at 4-all, 5-all, but you know, Jack's class just came through in the end.
We will hear from Jack after the break, and we'll also see tonight's final. Don't go anywhere.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to Solihull with our winner of the second semi-final, Jack. You got through that in the end. You had not only a player to beat, but a crowd as well. It was action-packed in here.
Yeah, it was a good match. He played really well, to be fair, for saying he was a qualifier against like a well-known pro. He handled himself really well, and to go 3-all, I was a bit shaky, really, to be fair. I thought this can't happen to me, sort of thing. But luckily, I got a finish, and then I think he dry broken, and I cleared up, and then I played that shot off the bottom cushion, and then I cleared up off the break in the last frame. So I'm pleased to get over the line. Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that shot off the bottom cushion. The place in here went wild for that. Really, it took a lot of vision to see that shot. Were you confident before you played it?
Well, I knew I was going to pop the ball over the pocket. I'd have probably made it. Well, yeah, I'd have thought like it's 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 sort of shot. Obviously, where the white's gone is just pure luck, really, because it caught the cushion just before the ball, and it made it have run inside, so it come round off the free cushion for the black. But it's more luck than judgment. But I knew I was going to pop the. Well, I thought I was going to pop the ball, but it was one of them where I had nothing really to lose. I'd lost the frame virtually, so I had to play something, and obviously it come out perfect for me. So.
Oh, far too honest for your own good, mate. We'll pretend you meant it. Looking forward to this final, I imagine. What are you expecting from it?
Alex is a good player, but I think I'll win, obviously. I've not played too much over the last month. I hurt my rib about 3 weeks ago. I caught a bit of form playing last week in Scotland on the tour, and I got further than I expected, to be fair. I never played for 3 weeks before that, so to go into that quite cold and to come out like I lost in the quarterfinals in both events, and I was really pleased with that, to be fair, even though it's not really what you want. But I got further than I thought, should I say. But yeah, the crowd were great then, and hopefully they stick around and they watch the final, because it was really good atmosphere.
Well, we hope you put on a show for them. Congratulations on making it. Best of luck.
Cheers, thank you.
And let's take a little look at how Jack got himself there. And here we go. This is the state of play in tonight's final. Alex O'Donoghue beating Andrew McKee. Jack Whelan getting over the line against Matt Ward. Delighted to say being joined again by Simon Webb. And I think it's fair to say just about, I know we had a decider in our first game. It was very, very close, but I think just about the right two have made tonight's final.
Yeah, possibly on paper, the two that were expected. Alex is the seed, although I expected Andrew to push him all the way, and he did. And Jack, obviously former world champion against the qualifier. It sort of went as expected, but it had some twists and turns along the way.
Yeah, it's been a great evening tonight in Solihull, and the final is just about to get underway. This for a place in the next round of the Champions Cup. Alex O'Donoghue taking on Jack Whelan. And interesting to hear from Jack heading into this one in his post-match interview there. He was just a very normal, straight-up answer. I said, what do you expect him from the final? I said, well, I expect to win.
Yeah, that's Jack for you. He's confident. He's I don't actually coming across on the telly, but he sort of has an air of owning the table when he's at the table. You know, it's his table. You know, if it goes against him, it's like, I don't understand what's going on. It's really is he's a very dominant figure at the table, and in attitude towards the game, I suppose.
And we did just have the mention of the shot that he played off the cushion. He was very honest, to be fair. He did say it was all look where the white ended up. For me, I think you've just got to try and earn that and try and say that you meant every inch of it. He couldn't have played it more perfectly.
No, and the natural, you know, he's probably belittling. You know, he said that he fully expected to make it, the pot that is. But you know, it wasn't, the natural angle wasn't there. He had to create the angle with spin, and he managed to do that fantastically well. And sometimes you get the rewards, you know, for playing a great shot.
Well, it's a great break from Jack Whelan, and we can say this much. Me and Kev was speaking quite a bit about this in his semi-final, that when it's on, his break is one of the best, and he certainly seems to have got to grips with it as this night has progressed, and he's potted quite a few off the break there, and he's in with a decent chance already to win the first frame of the final. Yeah,
Jack has a very, very big break. He won the World Championships on the back of his break. I'm not belittling the rest of his performance at the World Championships, but his break at the World Championships was just so good that it just gave him just so many chances, and he was in great form all week in all aspects of his game. But he was certainly built on the back of a big break, and he's sort of showing that tonight.
I think what you mentioned at the start of this one, that the notion of him being a very composed, very confident figure around the table as well, just starting to come into it more and more. The win over Matt will have given him confidence, because we mentioned at the start, it was a total unknown quantity really, was Matt Ward, and Jack even mentioned in his post-match when it went 3-3, he was a little bit shaken by that.
Yeah, well, he probably wasn't expecting Matt to come out and play as well as he did. I'm not sure if he would have known who he was or have seen him play before. But yeah, he would have been, especially when he went 2-0 up, he'd have been thinking, okay, I'm going to get through this 6-0, 6-1, something like that. And to be 3-3, he was bang under it. But he responded.
It's a really cute positional shot from Jack there to leave himself on this red. What was interesting, wasn't it? We were talking a bit off air before we came on tonight about, we always have this chat every week, so we talk about the players that we're about to see and what we know, what we think, what we're predicting. And you said something quite interesting about Matt Ward. The only thing you knew about him was he was in a good mood because you said hello to him earlier on, and that was it.
Yeah, I'd not seen him play before. He's not played on the tour. If he has, it was a number of years ago before I was involved, and yeah, it was. I was watching him for the first time, like I'm sure many are.
He gave a good account of himself as well against a very good player in Jack Whelan, and Jack has really showcased just how good he is on this break. That's a more complicated break and dish than it maybe initially appeared. He's played that really nicely.
Yeah, no, that's Jack Williams' game there. Big break, one bad ball, worked it out, and ran through it very, very nicely.
So Alex O'Donoghue will be next to the table, and here's just a reminder of his 2017. Don't forget, he did have his last event in October, hasn't played since. No World Championship, no Welsh Open, no Scottish Open, so a little bit harder to judge. He's coming into this event tonight very fresh and off the back of just a bit of practice, but he looked pretty good against Andrew McKee, who's certainly no mug. That was a very difficult game he had first up.
Yeah, I expected that one to go all the way, and it did. I was actually really impressed with Alex. I don't think he did a huge amount wrong in the match. There was a lot of tactical battles and a lot of cagey play, but when he was actually going for his finishes, he was pretty clinical. And his temperament was good. So really impressed.
He's very icy cool, is Alex O'Donoghue. Doesn't let the highs get to him, not too much on the lows as well.
Yeah, pretty level-headed guy. Doesn't get too up or down.
And nice as well. It was something that Jack alluded to in his interview, that many of the crowd here at Solihull are sticking around to watch, even though their guy essentially. They were all here to see Matt Ward, of course, see their friend give a former world champion a really good game. They were all Blackton off the break. And there we go.
So
First time I've seen that in a little while, so we'll go again.
We'll do it all again. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The crowd have stayed around. It was actually, I spent that last match out in the arena, and the atmosphere out there is absolutely fantastic. They're not just cheering for Matt. They were very, very respectful on Jack's shots, and actually they were, you know, going quite crazy for a few of Jack's finishes as well. So as much as they wanted their man to win, they were very, very respectful to both players.
And I know that was just take a quick look, a reminder of Jack's previous tournament history. He mentioned that he's been playing pretty well, and especially in the most recent one up in Aberdeen, which we can't see there, got to a couple of quarterfinals. You just feel like he's slowly making his way back.
Yeah, I mean, and this is only because of the standard that Jack is. Yeah, he won the World Championships as an amateur, and since turning professional, he has probably not hit the heights that I expected him to, or certainly a number of people would have expected him to. But it's only because of what everyone expects from him. You know, it's not that he hasn't performed well; it's just he hasn't quite won anything yet. You know, he's been getting closer, but it was nice to see him in Scotland getting back to somewhere near his best, 2 quarterfinals, and you know, I thought he might go all the way in one of them.
Yeah, he mentioned it was more than he expected, was 2 quarterfinals, so he feels pretty good at the moment, and you can see his game's at a pretty good level. But Alex here has got a decent chance of tying the score up here.
Yeah, it's actually not as... It looks a little bit messy. The red along the bottom rail, that may be his biggest problem, but when he plays the red to the bottom left, he's going to play it off the yellow and try and open up that pocket for the other red. That's going to be his goal. I think the others are less of a problem. That's what he tried, but he just hit too far up the rail.
That could be a costly miss. He never really looked settled with that shot, did he?
No, he wasn't. You can see he wasn't comfortable. I think he was actually trying to do a couple of things in the same shot, and he was trying to screw into the red that he screwed into. That was going to be his next biggest problem once he cleared the bottom problem, and he was trying to screw into that, open up at the same time. So he was trying to do 2 or 3 things at the same time, and it's sort of gone wrong. But you can sort of see what I mean about sort of Jack wanting to own the table. You saw how quickly he was out of his chair running to sort of get control of the, you know, as he sees it, his table, you know. Quite imposing as an opponent to play against sometimes.
Yeah, and when he's in his rhythm, really good player to watch.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite players to watch, actually. I really enjoy watching the way Jack goes about finishes and the way he handles himself around the table.
He's got through this really, really nicely. Just seems to be playing with that swagger that you mentioned. Playing quickly, good flow. Nothing's looking difficult. He did get bogged down quite a bit against Matt. He didn't find it as easy, but it feels like he's into his rhythm now, and this is ominous for Alex O'Donoghue, the way that Jack's looking here. Oh, he's rattled that in, no dramas. And Jack Whelan has raced into a 2-0 lead here, and probably really only the first real mistake Alex has made all night has been really badly punished.
Yeah, I know that Alex missed a couple of pots in his first match, but they were really tough, long, speculative pots. That was the first real bad missed pot he's had tonight, and he was punished. From Alex's side of the table, he's 2-0 down. He's had one chance, and it was a tricky chance, and he's not taken it. He's missed a pot. He's made a mistake, and he's been punished. You know, but he was 2-0 down in his first match, and he came back nicely. So he won't be, you know, too down on himself. You can't do anything if your opponent breaks and dishes. You just have to sit and wait for your next chance.
Might not get another one the way that Jack's been breaking, just as we say that. He crunches into them, he's getting into them so nicely, but having said that,
you can see just how big his break is, you know, the number of balls that are flying around the table and the amount of movement he gets from all of the balls. He's unlucky to come up dry, but he's actually quite fortunate to leave a fairly messy table for Alex. He's got just that little cluster, 2 yellows and the black. And he's also, if he chooses to go yellows, then he's got to sort the yellow at the top end of the table out. If he chooses to go reds, then he's going to have to get into that black. He's gone straight after it. Has he been unlucky?
I think he might have been.
Well, he's been unlucky that the black hasn't come out, but I don't think he's left himself on a pot either.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue for him right now. I think he's given a pretty good go at getting the black out. It was always a tough shot, always leaving a lot to luck, but I don't think he's not got anything easy to play at all.
You can only see the one red, so nothing but a safety shot. We could see I could see the other red. I thought we could only see the one below that, so he has taken the double on.
It's not come out awfully for him. He's pretty much taken control of 1.5 pockets, we'll say.
Yeah, well, as I said at the start, if he decided to go yellows himself, then the yellow at the top end of the table doesn't pass the other the red, and he's still got the bad yellow by the black. So there's nothing easy about these yellows. So much so that Jack's just taken the pocket, top end of the table, or maybe not necessarily. It wanted to take the pocket because it makes it easier to develop that yellow later on, but also stopping Alex from being able to go for the finish. But the yellow hasn't reached, so the reds are there. It's just about that black. Now, I think, just looking at the table, I think that all the reds go comfortably. He doesn't need to, you know, just has to work his way around the reds around the middle pocket. The one at the top's not a problem. The black, if he chooses not to develop it, which he was good, the plan was to develop it actually off his next shot. He's just overscrewed that. He wanted to leave the white almost where the yellow is, pop the red into the centre pocket and cannon into the black. Because if he cannons that yellow full ball, then he's perfect. But the black, I think, does double. I think well, this camera shows that I think it does double. If he leaves the red to the bottom left as his last ball, he'll leave himself quite a nice, should be a controllable positional shot to get nicely on the double if he chooses.
Yeah, it's difficult to see how he can get into that black for any of the balls now.
Well, he may be thinking the double might be his last resort, so he may be thinking that if he can get the white down somewhere near the centre of the table, just see where he's pointing his cue now, he'll leave himself on that red to the centre pocket and cannon into the black. Or ideally sort of probably just cushion first and then catch the black maybe quarter ball after the cushion, so that the black will flick on and he'll stay on the other one. Didn't quite get into that as much as he wanted to.
A shake of the head from Alex. This hasn't come out too nicely for him. He's almost got the fail-safe of the double, but he just doesn't really want to play it if he can avoid it, which he now might not be able to.
Yeah. No, I think he's okay. He has a choice to cannon into the black if he wants to. He could play this red and go into the black and yellow, or he could just drop it in for the double. I think the more controlled options to play on the double.
Yeah, almost better the devil you know, really, isn't it? And that's what he's opted for. Well, if you want to win a frame in a Champions Cup, sometimes these are the efforts you've got to go to. Double is on, it's short. And you never ever want to miss the black. For obvious reasons, you don't win the frame, but also it means the opponent has 7 balls on the table, nothing in the way.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know, even if Jack decides not to go for the finish this time, you know, he should be able to get control of the frame, and whenever your opponent misses their last ball and you've got all yours left, you really are a big favourite to win that frame. But having said that, Jack is going to go for this finish, and he's going to have to make a couple of good pots down the rail, so it's not all over for Alex.
He set himself up for this long one down the right rail.
Yeah, I think he's going to want to get on the one on the bottom rail after this shot as well, so he's going to have to get the white, top this through and get the white quite close to the corner pocket. 2 tough shots in the trot.
He's played that really nicely. He looks in really good shape, doesn't he?
Yeah, he would have loved another 3-4 inches. You can see him, the shake of the head is because this is a very tough shot. This really is tough, and he's got more angle on it than he wanted. If he's straighter on it, it's much easier for him to control as well.
I don't know about you, Simon. I just never expected them to miss that.
I never expect him to miss anything.
Is that through experience of playing him by any chance?
Yeah. I got close to him the first time I played him, and never since. So, yeah.
But those 2 shots down the rail, the 2 pots themselves are very difficult. He was annoyed that he left himself a little bit short in the second one, but the pot itself wasn't easy at all. He potted it so crisply.
Yeah, no, they were 2 really tough shots, made to look very, very easy. Makes the game look a lot easier than it actually is.
And just another reminder of who we have seen so far and what we've still got to come. We're back here, don't forget, in Solihull, the final of our Solihull hat-trick. John McAllister is the seed next week. Then we've got a couple of weeks in Chester. We head back down to Cardiff before a couple of weeks in Twickenham in southwest London. Sheffield is then the journey for week 14. Then we head up to Bonnie, Scotland for the final 2 weeks of qualifying. Still a few weeks to go yet for you, Simon?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. So can't wait. Week 11.
And you're in a really good group as well. I'm really looking forward to that week for so many reasons. You playing being one of them, but that's such a great group for a neutral. I'm sure you're really annoyed about your draw, but a great group for the neutral.
It is. You know, you get good draws, bad draws. It's just you have to accept them. Simon Ward, who was the World Championship runner-up, and Mika Rooney, who won the Ladies World Championship, so will be going off in the first match, and then I played Zach Wilkinson in the second match. So yeah, there's some. I thought the black was going to drop in. It should be a good night's pool. Looking forward to it.
This was it. Break from Alex, and I think honestly he'd have probably preferred the black to go in for the second time in the match.
Yeah, and I think for certain he would have preferred the black to go in there because he's come up dry, but Jack's obviously very, very worried about it. He's already potted the black mid-frame once tonight.
He gave that 2 attempts as well. Nearly potted it the frame before.
Both players want to be yellows. That's you know, Jack could have taken red stem, but it's really important that yellows are the colour of choice here. there isn't, you know, I say they're the colour of choice. There isn't a finish on in yellows, but the yellows have got complete control of the bottom left-hand part of the table, and there's 2 yellows that need to be developed, and one of them, if not both of them, can be doubled. So it's a battle to who can get to be yellows.
Yeah, the risk is if you develop the 2 yellows on the side rail, particularly from the bottom left of the table, you're taking the possible gamble of knocking the black in as well. So it's not going to be an easy clearance no matter what you pick, really.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't go for the finish. He's a very, very aggressive player. But that second ball going in probably may even force his hand to go for it. He could just take the pocket again, but I think you're leaving Alex a chance that all his reds go. He doesn't necessarily need to use that pocket. So I think he probably will go for this, but you know, he's looking at the double options on those 2 yellows. But as you said a minute ago, there was never going to be a risk of cannoning into those yellows, because the risk would have been too high to nudge one of them up to go somewhere near that black.
It is balancing precariously over that pocket.
He's a bit awkward. I think he would have loved another inch up the table so he wasn't hampered with this yellow, so that he could sort of get to the bottom of the white and screw it and maybe play with some control to... I think he's still okay, but it's just more awkward than it really needs to be.
He's played the pot really well, but I think it just goes back to what you said. He didn't have a lot of cue ball control.
Yeah, if he's an extra inch up the table and he's queuing almost between the yellow and red, when he makes that double, he cannons into the yellow a little bit thicker, and that yellow will go further down the rail. It just took the control away from the shot for him, and now he's got a problem. He may be forced into playing this the yellow that's in the open, cutting that in. The white's going to cannon off the red and possibly go up towards the top end of the table, and he may end up with a very, very tough pot down the rail to win the frame. He may even end up snookered.
The worst case scenario is, as soon as you leave the white ball slightly unattended, not in total control, it doesn't take a lot to knock that black in, as we just saw.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's probably why I expect him not to play this with that much pace, just give himself sight of that yellow down the rail, not try and get too close to it. Oh, he has made it.
And there you go. Second time tonight, Jack Whelan pots the black. Shake of the head. That one, I think, was far more forgivable. He's a little unlucky, but again, I did mention it before he played it. It was always going to be a danger.
Yeah, I was only giving thought to the white. Where's the white going to go? Can it, you know, that's what I was thinking about. Never entered my head that the red could go and do that, but you know, he probably should have given that some thought. As in hindsight, which is easier to say, it looked like it was natural.
He was caught Jack studying his own shot in one of the screens here.
Yeah, screens are on about a 20-second delay, so you know, you play a bad shot or a good shot, you get a chance to look up and have a watch. So when he did that in the first match, he didn't let it affect him. He responded with a break dish straight away. It'd be interesting to see if he can do the same again.
So, Jack Whelan does cede a frame for the first time, but he does return straight back with the break. Once again, look at the amount of balls on the move. It might have come up a little bit awkward for him with the lie the white, but another great break in terms of the amount of yellow and reds that are flying around.
Yeah, another big break for Jack. He's got a lovely split. He really has. He'll be thrilled with the split. I just don't know whether he's got a good opening ball. Can he see past his yellow to pop the red? He can.
I think he'll be pleased with how he's come out there.
Yeah, he'd be really pleased with that first shot. It's come out really well. Oh, he's having a good look. Maybe he can't quite see enough of this to pot it. If he hasn't, then he's got a really tricky next shot. He'd have to take the one nearest the bottom left pocket of the overhead.
Oh, it's a really good shot. Let's play that.
Yeah,
it's very controlled.
Had to put some side on that. Couldn't play it naturally.
Yeah, much more difficult shot than that looked initially.
He's come up short again. He needed another foot on that. He's going to have to reroute, take the one at the bottom end of the table. It's difficult to tell from this overhead whether the natural angle is to come back towards his hand or towards the red. Oh, he's all right. It was a natural just to come up wide off it, so that was absolutely fine.
Not an automatic black, just given the distance of the shot, but it's a pot you'd expect to make, especially in the form that he's playing. Oh, and he just wiggles it in, but it's 4-1.
Yeah, impressive stuff from Jack. I asked the question at the beginning of the frame: can he respond to potting the black mid-frame with a breaking dish? And he has.
Yeah, it's a good performance this so far from Jack Whelan. He's looking in really, really good shape. Alex O'Donoghue needs to find a way back into this match. It's not going to be easy. Jack is looking particularly good, especially from his break. Alex does have a frame on the board. He was handed that to him in frame 4 when Jack potted the black. That is the crucial one next to the fouls column. We will find out if Alex can indeed come back or if Jack is on his way through to the next round. That's after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back then. You haven't missed a beat. Jack Whelan versus Alex O'Donoghue set to resume. And don't forget, even though listings will have us exiting the pool at 10:30, he nearly potted the black again, Alex O'Donoghue off the break for the third time. And even though listings have us off at 10:30, fear not, you won't miss a ball here from Solihull. We'll be with it live until the very end this evening. Stephen Jamieson and Simon Webb with you for the final session of tonight's action. And Alex O'Donoghue really making a habit of putting that black towards the middle pocket, isn't he?
When you go for the cut break, and he's gone for the cut break all night, you tend to see that the black can go close to the centre pocket. Not that often, but more often than if you're going for the front ball break. But he's certainly gone close a couple of times tonight.
Oh, Jack Williams absolutely rattled that one in. Yes, and that bounce off the jaws really helped him.
Yeah, he's still, I mean, he's really, you see just knocking the table as he's walking around. He's not happy because he was trying to get the white further down the table. The reds are okay, apart from the obvious one that's tied up with those yellows. And he needs an angle on one of his other reds to cannon into that area. But it's not an obvious cannon. Certainly not from here. I think he probably needs to get on the red that's nearest his little finger there, the one that's nearest to where the black gets spotted. If he can get on that with some angle, he'll be able to either screw into it or more likely come off the top and side cushions or the bottom and side cushions into it.
I think he's okay for that red at the top of the table. Just about.
I think the fact that the referees had to see if it's a total suggests that he certainly can't pot it.
No, you're right. He is behind it. I thought he was initially checking if it was touching ball, but yeah, the overhead camera just fooled me a touch there. He is behind that. It is a snooker. So it is the end of the break. He does get the hit, but he wanted it full ball.
Yeah, and those of you that don't watch black ball rules that often, if you are, we've talked about having to hit a cushion after you've hit your object ball. If you are snookered, then you don't need to, so it's not a foul from Jack in this occasion. Not too much damage done for Jack. He hasn't left an easy ball on for Alex, and you know, Alex does have some problem balls of his own. Yes, the one next to the red's easier for him to develop, but he's still got the ones above it.
Time out. Red fold down. Time running.
Now I just wonder if Jack can sneak that through.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I think if he could have done, he would have done. Because even if he doesn't want to pot it, he can just take the pocket with it.
Well, he's playing exhibition-style pot up to the top of the table. Instead, you can see it's very tight. I think he'd have to be pretty much straight on it. He's just seeing if he can play it through to cut it.
Yeah, what he's looking at, see the red that I talked about last visit, the one that's almost on where the black gets spotted. He's going to pot that and try and screw across into it. He's got just enough angle for the shot to be on, and it's come out like a dream for him. Great shot.
Absolutely brilliant. Really, really good from Jack Whelan. That's a perfect shot.
Yeah, I think that's what he was looking for on his previous visit when he got stopped by being snookered on the black. But this time it's come out lovely for him.
It's interesting, isn't it? The attempted safety from Alex O'Donoghue didn't look all that bad a shot, especially when we thought, oh, well, he can't sneak the red through, but Jack's potting game is so strong. It's so difficult to leave the white safe anywhere. He'll take it on if it's there.
Yeah, and he has that sort of air of, you know, if you leave me a chance, I'm going to punish you.
I don't know about that. He's done that. Thanks to O'Donoghue with the slight look of a man who fears for the end there, I think.
Well, he'll be given some hope from Jack's last shot. He was trying to cannon that yellow just full in the face, just to leave himself a nice comfortable black to the top right, but catching it thin, this is extremely missable from hampered queuing.
Call an extension, I think, just to make the time pressure one less thing he has to worry about. This is tough. Oh, it's a great shot. Really, really good shot.
I can't explain to you how tough that shot was. That was just horrible queuing, just not nice at all. So just to find that, that's fantastic. That really is. You see the tap of the knee from Alex. He knows how tough that shot was.
And there'll be an element of frustration mixed in with that as well, because as soon as he saw where he left that white, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it, as a player? And he'd have been sort of thinking, oh, I might get a chance here.
Yeah, you're thinking I'm 4-1 down, going 5-1 down. Oh, he's played a bad positional shot. I might get a chance here. I could get back in this match. And we've seen stranger things happen than, you know, a mistake like that affecting a match, and maybe the momentum goes with Alex, and all of a sudden he's 4-3, maybe 4-4. But you know, just a great shot from Jack. Really is.
Yeah, good to see that. We heard the reaction, good to see the reaction as well. And there's still plenty of people in here enjoying the pool, which is great to see. It's what it's all about.
I also think it's harder when you know you should be better on the black than you actually are. You know, when you feel like you should be fairly straight in on the black and you leave yourself a shot like that, I find it is so much harder to make that next shot, because you know you should have been better on it. So to be mentally strong enough to put that out of his mind and make it, just brilliant.
And I have to say, Jack's break has been so impressive all night, and that hasn't changed here. And Jack is one away, and due to the nature of just how he's playing, you wouldn't rule out Alex playing his final shot.
I think Alex may have even already written it off in his head. He's probably thinking, if I get back to the table, it'll be a bonus. He does have this tough one, tough right down the rail. He needs to get on that nicely. He may actually save that for potentially for his last ball. Drop the one into the right, into the bottom centre as we look now. Leave the one down the rail, and then he just needs to drop it in, and you're going to give yourself a shot on the black. Maybe what he's thinking.
But ever since Jack got through Matt Ward, ever since this final started, he really has just been on it, hasn't he? Just hasn't looked like missing.
No, it's been such a solid and impressive performance.
And it wasn't like he played badly against Matt by any stretch of the imagination, but there was that slight element of the game where you felt like Matt had a chance in every frame. It wasn't as assured as this.
No, it's almost like he's picked up some confidence from the way he's sort of kicked on from going 3-3 against Matt. The way he finished that match, he sort of almost got him into his stride, and he really has been dominant in this match. It's not like Alex has done too much wrong.
Yeah, he really hasn't. I mean, we take a look back. The only frame Alex has won is when Jack potted the black. The frames 2 and 3. The second frame Alex misses a mistake in the bottom left. Jack dished, and then Alex then missed a double on the black in frame 3, and since then he's just not had the opportunities. And Jack Whelan here is a shot away from the second rounds, and it was never in doubt, was it? Tremendous performance from Jack Whelan. Really, really good display in the final. Alex O'Donoghue departs the Champions Cup 6-1 the final score. What a good performance it was.
Yeah, fantastic performance, and you can see there the 3 breaking dishes. It was really built on his break. You know, big break, rolled them in, put pressure on Alex, and also managed to make some great finishes in the other frames as well. Really impressive performance from Jack.
And do stay with us. We will be hearing from our winner tonight, Jack Whelan, and that's after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
welcome back to Solihull with the eventual winner on the night, Jack Whelan. Jack, first of all, how do you feel? The final went really well out there for you.
Yeah, it went really well compared to the semi-finals where I was a little bit edgy against the local qualifier. When I was playing Alex, I settled down straight away. I felt a lot more comfortable. I felt like I was really focused and nothing affected me. And when I landed like bad on a ball, and then I didn't ever think I was going to miss a ball. It was like that's exactly like how you want to feel when you're playing, and everything just come quite natural. It felt like I wasn't even really in a match. It was more like a practice sort of. Even the balls like went in my favour, which is nice when it happens like that.
Yeah, it's something we picked up on commentary. It seemed to be that it felt very natural for you, and you had an air of a man who wasn't going to miss. Even when you landed awkwardly on the black up to the top right, was there ever a moment that crossed your mind when I thought, oh, I might mess that one up?
No, it's one of them. You know, like when you're in the zone sort of. I've played a bad shot. I tried to screw into the ball full ball and hold the white where it was, but when I slipped off it, I thought I never thought I was going to miss it anyway. Like it's just from like last week, I got a little bit of confidence, and the first match, I felt a little bit better, and then that match I felt really good. Then I felt like I was back to my old self, sort of.
It was a comment Simon made on commentary that was the Jack Whelan that won the World Championship. That's exactly how he did it. Big break and then just polished you off. Do you feel like you're getting back towards that sort of level?
No, I'm a million miles away from where I was when I was playing like full time, really. But
are you on that journey back? Do you feel yourself progressing?
I'd love to be, yeah. Obviously, I don't like going to tournaments and losing all the time. It's not much fun, like, but it's one of them. You just got to take the rough with the smooth, and there's other things to life. Do you know what I mean? So you just get on with it, and that's it, really. Like nothing else I can say.
How much have you enjoyed the competition here? I know you've really enjoyed interacting with the crowd, who seems to be right behind you. Have you enjoyed the Champions Cup experience so far?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Yeah, good crowd in against when I played Matt, and they stayed on as well for the final, and even at the end, some of them were cheering me on. And like they've probably never seen me play before, but in the end of it, they was cheering me on, so that was nice as well. Like.
I might have to sign a few autographs before you leave tonight, hey?
Yeah, I just want to also say thanks to my sponsors as well, the Corn Exchange in Derby. They've supported me through like my big downswing from when I won the Worlds, and also thanks to Roger as well. So thanks for that.
No problem. Well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you in the late rounds.
Cheers, thank you.
And here's how he won it tonight.
Okay. Well, a very happy Jack Whelan makes it through Group 7 here in Solihull. A fine win against Matt Ward, followed by a really fine performance against Alex O'Donoghue, Simon. Yeah, I think that's as an impressive a performance as we've seen from anybody so far in the 7 weeks of the Champions Cup so far. Yeah, absolutely superb stuff from Jack Whelan, and plenty more to look forward to, of course, in the Champions Cup. Been great action tonight. We're expecting more of the same next week. This is what we've got to look forward to. Ben Rowland taking on John McAllister, Luke Wrigglesworth versus Harry Owen, and I'm really looking forward to seeing John McAllister go in this Champions Cup. He's been in fantastic form this year, and he's a really good player to watch as well. Yeah, he is. He just won the Scottish Open, and he just looked just a brilliant performance, really looked brilliant all weekend, and he's just been getting better and better over the last couple of years. So if anyone wants to beat him next week, they're going to have to play very, very well. Yeah, certainly one to watch next week. Looking forward to seeing John McAllister go. And Ben Rowland, Luke Wigglesworth and Harry Irwin will be determined competition. Make no mistake, so do make sure you tune in next week to watch that one. It should be an absolute cracker. Same time and same place as well. We're in Solihull once again. So we do look forward to welcoming you back to the West Midlands next week on Freesports. From us, though, it's been a wonderful evening of pool. We hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll see you next week. We'll do it all over again. Good night.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.